Good evening. Welcome back to Mik'd. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Today is Wednesday, September 7th. We're going to run down the Heineken headlines. Like what he did there.
Heineken headlines.
Heineken headlines. Got a big day in the studio. Big show. Jordan Jefferson was supposed to come on the show on Monday. He was in, I think, Egypt or somewhere that did not have service.
Brother.
The boonies.
He was somewhere where it's nearly impossible. Maybe where cell phones were invented.
Maybe. But look, he's got service.
And if you want proof,
He's there. Well, he's not there, but he was there at
a
one
little
point.
test call.
We did it.
A little test call.
Technology works. He'll be back in the studio at 6:15, right?
Yep.
6:15? 6:15. Before that, we're going to run through these headlines. We got a big day, big week, big couple days in the sports world. Yeah, you got to put the mic in your face, Coach.
6:15. He's back.
A lot of action. You got the opening day. I know you hate when I say that, but SEC and ESPN, when they were promoting this weekend, they said it's opening day for
You
college
can't trust
football.
those people.
So, opening day, kickoff to NFL season is Thursday. Kickoff to everybody's hopes and dreams in their fantasy football season begins on Thursday. Set your lineups.
I know, I got to draft at
Everybody's,
7:30.
oh, Jesus Christ.
I
How
got
many
drafted-
I thought
I
you
got
said I'm not a
drafted
big
at
fantasy
6:30.
football guy. You've had 4 drafts.
This is my second one.
I think you're joking. I think you're lying. Everybody's hopes and dreams in their survivor pools, in their office pools, all
I think
those
he's
things.
drinking.
I think you are drinking. You probably are. What's in that Gatorade?
I just cracked it.
What's in that Gatorade?
I've done that before, though.
Yeah, of course you have. You've done everything. I don't think there's anything you haven't done. Maybe something.
Heroin.
Maybe, yeah, maybe heroin.
I'll do heroin, though. That big plans.
Jesus Christ.
You wouldn't do it just to see,
No.
like, 65,
No,
85,
never.
95.
Never.
You're dead the next day.
Never
Doctor
would I do
guaranteed.
it. Never would I do it. Ever.
Yeah, I think you're by yourself on that one.
No, I think
No.
there's a lot of people
No.
else to
No,
chat.
in
There's
terms
a
of
lot of
this
people
room, I
that
think
want to
you're by
try
yourself.
heroin.
No.
Have
But
you seen the horse that got taken down by ketamine, like a full actual like liquid ketamine? It took down like a 600-pound horse, just 1 gram.
yeah, I'm probably not going to do that either.
Ketamine's a big New York drug.
I wouldn't know that. But
The real question is, why do you know so much about it?
listen, no,
I've been to New York.
So have I.
me too, a few times, and ketamine is
So
never
am I.
crossed. Yeah, it was never on my itinerary of things I need to do in New York. I promise you that. But
Special K.
let's get back on the sports talk and the sports conversation. NFL starts. It's a lot of excitement. I'm looking forward to it. The slate of games this weekend is absolute bonkers. Like the NFL said, you know what we're going to do? We are going to create as many storylines as we possibly can. I think they went 16 for 16.
The NFL said, to hell with your undefeated dreams.
I think they
we
went-
big matchups early. We going
I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of like the matchups that they scheduled and the storylines behind it.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, you have teams, quarterbacks playing against former teams. Baker's going back and playing against the Browns opening week. You got Russell going back up to Seattle playing Monday night. You have the Cowboys playing Sunday night against
Tom.
So you have a lot.
They opened the season against
Saints
each
are
other
playing
last
the
year, right?
Falcons. Rivalry game. What? Saints are favored by 5.5 though.
I did see that. I know I'm talking about Dallas opened the season against Tampa last year, didn't they?
In Tampa?
We got some gambling.
I think
I
so.
think so.
I'm pretty sure they did.
I think so. Love gambling. Speaking of gambling, LSU Fool is our promo code now. It is we've gotten out of the giveaways. LSU Fool. Download the Caesar Sportsbook app. You get a risk-free bet up to $1,200, I believe,
For the virgins?
for the virgins. If not, we're gonna talk to these guys. Hopefully, we can get something else for the more experienced bettors that have used our promo codes in the past.
Yeah.
But slate of games in NFL is fire. We're going to get to those a little bit later. Obviously, we're going to start with college football because we are in Baton Rouge. We are in the heart of SEC country, and college football kind of runs the show down here. We have Jordan Jefferson coming on. He's going to kind of break down a little bit of what he saw in the game, a little bit of what he didn't like with Jaden Daniels, some of the things that team can improve on, how to improve on it, how do you get over a tough emotional loss like that, right? Obviously, we had a lot of talk on Monday, a lot of uppity, positive talk.
Wow.
Positive conversations.
I know I didn't like myself that day.
You know what, though? We've gotten a lot of positive feedback on our positive conversations. You know why? Because whenever you manifest positivity, people love that. and they feel that, and they want to be around you. So that's what we do here.
Maybe
We
if
like
they
to
won, we'd be
promote
more positive.
positivities, right? And we're not going to get into that because that should not have been said, and that is
Hey, we started on time.
Yeah, we did start on time. That's
No $10.
50-50. You don't
no
know.
$10 in the kangaroo court for
No.
me.
Hey, that is another thing that I noticed that I don't think people miss. We talked about kangaroo court a while back about how fun it is. Brian Kelly understands that. He understands the team chemistry. There is a kangaroo court that they are doing but he called it a kitty, which
Yeah, I never heard it called a kitty before.
me either. But maybe football guys call it different. I don't know. But it's the same thing as a kangaroo court. He said we're going to have a big bash at my house, which I'm sure is a great looking house. I would like to go to that.
You don't know where he lives?
Nope.
Those off the lakes, then.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it's great.
He's right in the thick of it, yeah.
I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's
Which
great.
everybody thought was a very interesting move. You know, if you've seen the Friday Night Lights where it's for sale signs in yard, they know where Brian Kelly is. A lot of head coaches have not done what he's done, where it's I'm front and center.
Everybody
baby.
knew where Coach O lived.
Not like this.
What do you mean? I mean, Brian Kelly just put himself in the heart of Baton
That's what I'm
Rouge. I
saying.
get that, but I respect it.
Yeah. Well,
I
and
respect that.
because you want to do stuff like this, you want to be able to hold. He's had recruiting bashes there. He's done stuff where he's had recruits over, families over.
It's
and
legal
now
now.
he's
You can do that.
And
Brian
now
Kelly can't
he's
recruit?
pulling
What are you
his
talking
he's
about?
pulling his best coach over and going to have the kitty over.
What are you talking about? He can't recruit.
No,
Oh,
he's not having the kitty over. The kitty is the bank that you put the money into. Let's not listen. Can't be spreading false information and making him out to be some weirdo.
Hey, but how funny was
Nuts.
Ed O yesterday?
That's great too. We're gonna get into that. Coach O loves to be in the headlines. I think it's everything that
he had a big weekend. It sounded like.
everything that people assumed. Like obviously he said he hasn't wavered one bit about how he handled the firing. It seemed like he was relieved and excited. Hey, give me this money. I'm gonna be gone. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna sprint out of this door. Actually, I'm gonna tackle the door and break it down with my fucking catcher mitt. Never mind. I was gonna call it catcher mitt face head, but whatever.
Kitty?
Yeah, the kitty. In other sports news, and I think this is leading into the college football because college football, there's a few things that kind of differentiates college football from NFL football. And, you know, the passion, you have the fans that are passionate, but you have the students, the passion, the energy, the tradition. All of those things mean a lot to the programs and these schools and the fan base and all these things, right? Well, College Game Day has been a staple in that realm. College Game Day, since I can remember, wake up in the morning, flip it on, you get hyped, you get ready to go. It's the first thing you have on in the morning. Well, over the years, you know, especially the last probably 5, 6, 7 years, I kind of felt like College Game Day started kind of going a little bit downhill. They were kind of getting aged out. Lee Corso wasn't the same. He was kind of fading. He wasn't as with it as he was in the past. Look, age is Father Time is undefeated. It happens. ESPN and College Game Day made the announcement yesterday, last night, that Pat McAfee. I'm sure everybody that listens to the podcast, watches YouTube shows. We live on YouTube. Pat McAfee is the father of shows on YouTube as far as sports goes, right? Like he is the standard, and he is the show that everybody, hey, be Pat McAfee, hey, do this. It's kind of hard because he's a one of one. He's very good at what he does. His business acumen is very good. Well, ESPN said, okay, how do we make Game Day better? Let's get Pat McAfee to be a part of it, right? So as of tomorrow, Pat McAfee is now part of College Game Day for this year and next year at least, which I think is exciting. That's going to bring a ton of energy. It's going to bring a completely different type. It's going to bring back the young demographic, I think, and bring back a lot of energy. So that's a huge positive to the college football world. Would you not agree?
They could not have pulled a better move. It made me wonder how early they were in talks to bring McAfee in.
I think it's been a course of a year, I would assume.
Over the course of a year?
Over the course of a year, yeah.
Because he doesn't have one left.
Yeah, look, and I don't want to speak bad on this man because he has done a lot of stuff, and sometimes it's just your time to go, right? Not go as in leave this
he
earth.
could die on set.
This is your time to leave the show, right? walk off into the sunset
Did you
and
watch-
enjoy
did-
retirement.
Did y'all watch?
I didn't
Game
watch
Day?
it, and that's the problem. I love Game Day, but like I don't really want to watch it as intently as I used to because it's just not as interesting for me.
This is a total 180.
This is great, and it's a great first game to go to. He's going to Austin, Texas, Alabama, Texas. Like it's just a very good first game for him. He's been on Game Day before, so he's experienced with it.
Belly flopped into the
Yeah,
river
he
that
did
he got arrested in
with pants.
in a bolo tie.
Yeah, it's great.
See, that's what they like. It's essentially like a
I mean shorts, not pants. Suit
Corso
shorts.
2.0. It's like
No.
you're getting that same.
No.
Like early Corso. Like this is like, oh my God, this man is bringing the energy. We have mascot heads. Like,
Yeah, but
he's
like,
a
this
character.
is a whole different-
No, I agree. But in the 1964, whenever Corso first started,
Oh, that's when Game Day started?
yeah, I
That's
think
64?
so.
Okay.
That's what Corso was. He was the
1964.
Corso was the fun guy, and now they found like the ultimate. Like,
Right.
okay, there's no reason to change the channel now.
Right.
If he might pick Texas this Saturday just to be funny and bring out like the mascot and try and ride it. Like
He'll
that's
try to ride
that's
Devo.
like that's the energy he brings, and like that's gonna make. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. I'm going to watch it too. The slate of college football games are, I would say for week 2, I think they're pretty good. I think there's some pretty interesting storylines. Kentucky plays at Florida. I think to me that's the most fun game and the most anticipated game for me.
Over the Alabama Texas game.
I just think it's going to be a better game than Alabama Texas. Alabama is a bigger favorite on the road against Texas than A&M is at home against Appalachian State. Think about that.
It's only 22. You don't even have to worry about it's 20 points. So you don't even have to worry about the 3 touchdowns. It's a great number, actually.
Right, it is a great number. But that Kentucky-Florida game, I think, is going to be electric. Both quarterbacks are electric. Both quarterbacks are first-round talents. I think Will Levis is projected to go in the first round, high in the first round. Anthony Richardson is a sophomore, correct?
He's projected in the first round of his class.
Right, the next year, right? Both of them can run. Both of them can throw. Will Levis is a psychopath. He puts mayo in his coffee.
Eats banana with the skin on.
Eats banana with the skin on. He's very
What?
yeah, it's unbelievable. It's crazy.
Ugh.
But that
The
game,
first one didn't make you say what either.
That's
No,
right.
the first one makes you say what more than the second
You
one.
must not.
No,
you
I
must
already
not
knew-
dip into too much
I
coffee.
already
then.
knew about the first one. I
Okay,
see
I'm about
that.
to say, wait, huh?
Boy, the first one is
Yeah, the
Sounds
first
one
one.
disgusting.
throw
The
up.
first
But
one's more disgusting. I just heard
Kentucky's
about
good. They can run. Florida obviously had a very big emotional
cream
first
is
win of
bad.
the season. Who knows? They're playing at Florida. I don't know. I think it's going to be a fun game. It's an SEC game. Obviously, there's a lot of interest
Who
in
they
that.
playing?
Appalachian State at what?
Who are they playing?
Kentucky at Florida.
Kentucky.
Okay, Kentucky. Will Levis is the quarterback at Kentucky.
No, I'm picking my pick
Let's
right
say that's
now.
your pick right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're catching 5.
You're taking Kentucky, but with the points, not
Yeah.
money line.
Maybe money line.
Oh,
We'll see.
Wow.
I don't mind that. Maybe that'll get a
A little letdown game. I mean, Florida got lucky. Great win, but
Florida was in the same, or Utah was in the same position LSU was. Utah just made the mistake. Threw the interception. That's what happened. Drove all the way down the field, got down there. The guy makes a
I would
bad
say
read.
LSU made a mistake as well.
Yeah, but I'm talking about they actually if they wouldn't even need to kick the extra point. They
Yeah.
would've won. You know what I mean? Like they didn't need the extra point. LSU scored a touchdown. Utah did not.
She did the hard part.
I am actually interested in the App State A&M game. What?
And why is that?
Your boy's here.
Oh, he's in. Because App State apparently has an electric offense, and
That's who took North Carolina.
yeah, I
or
know
something.
they scored like 60 points. All right, we're gonna get back into the slate of games. We're gonna take a 30-second break. Jordan Jefferson is in the waiting room of the video conference room. So you're watching Mik'd, brought to you by Sterling Automotive. We'll be right back.
Cool. I'm ready.
Today's show is brought to you by Dos Equis. Here in Louisiana, we like to have a great time. If you're looking to be the life of the tailgate, check out Dos Equis mini kegs. Hold 16 beers, easy to tap, easy to pour, easy to chill. Check it out. Become a life of the party. You're welcome. Our What's for Lunch segment is brought to you by Doe's Eat Place. Maybe the best burger in town. If you're not looking for lunch, you're looking for dinner, go check out Doe's Eat Place. They have unbelievable choice of meats. They have unbelievable tamales. They have a great atmosphere, great vibes. If you're looking for a homey Louisiana type of atmosphere, but you're looking for high quality food, Doe's Eat Place is your spot. Go in the back bar, sit at the bar, have a couple drinks, watch some games, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the vibes. Check out Doe's Eat Place, the best place in Baton Rouge to get your meats. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive. I'm excited. It's been a 3-day waiting process for this interview. It was not Lloyd's fault this time. I appreciate that, it not being Lloyd's fault. Sometimes the technology and the service just doesn't work.
We're great at teasing interviews.
We are very great. Look, that's just a little anticipation. This is good because we had a good show Monday. This is going to make the show today really good. Former starting quarterback for the LSU Fighting Tigers, Jordan Jefferson. Jordan Jefferson, thanks for coming in, bud. We miss you. We miss having you around.
Appreciate it, man.
Look at that backdrop. Look at that backdrop.
Are you in the Superdome, dude?
Obviously, I tuned into the show plenty times before. I've heard a lot of discussions that you all had. So when I seen my man Jay at the spring game, man, I just had to jump on.
Hey,
so
I'm glad you came
appreciate you all giving me a personal invite.
Of course, man. Yeah. Look, you're welcome anytime. We're going to be talking a lot of football. Obviously, you are a former high-level Division I starting quarterback. You're around football your whole life. You're around football now. Tell the people what you're doing. What are you doing now post-football career? And just kind of give everybody an update into your life.
Well, currently, I'm in the agent space. Okay. You know, I work for this agency called WME, which is one of the biggest sports and entertainment agencies in the world. So obviously, you know, my brother is with this agency, and I was able to gain an opportunity to join this agency due to my due diligence of what I've done for my brother. You know, I handle a lot of his branding, marketing, investment portfolio, and also his foundation that we started last year after the pandemic. So when it came to the sports management space, you know, I obviously was fitting for that opportunity of being a former player and actually going through that process. Being in this process with my youngest brother, which is a very high-profile NFL wide receiver, you know, and also being able to share that information with athletes that are going through that process of reaching their professional potential. So, you know, I work with guys in the marketing space, the NIL space, contracts and negotiations. So really just building within that space with WME.
I love that. So, obviously, your brother is, as you said, a high-level NFL superstar. Talk about how cool it is to watch him grow up and watch him grow into the player that he has become. And you have a first-hand look not only at him on the field but behind the scenes and how the man and the person that he's become.
That's a beautiful sight, man. It's obviously a story that you can't write. But strategically, we prepared for this moment. I mean, you know, a lot of people refer to his name as Jay Jets. You know, we started that whole alter ego persona in high school. So everything about what he is doing today has been based off of information, obviously from his older brothers, myself and Ricky playing there 4 years both. So he got 8 years worth of, you know, legitimate experience of being in the locker room, watching wide receivers like Jared Mitchell and Brandon LaFell and Terrence Tolliver and OBJ. You know, he had firsthand experiences to witness these things, and being able to apply that to his game right now, you know, gives him a great advantage and a blessing that helped his career. Honestly, as you know, as being a family member and watching it, you know, I've become a fan. You know, the roles have been reversed. You know, he used to watch me play when he was younger, and he was a fan of myself, you know, when it came to wearing my football jersey or, just trying to mimic a lot of things that I've done. So now I have the opportunity of being in the stands and just really watching as a fan. So he's a hard worker. He's a grinder. Obviously, he represents where he comes from. And it's always LSU, baby. Go Tigers.
I wanted to talk about LSU and the football part of it and kind of get your takes on it, but this is very interesting to me because obviously family is very close to my heart. I'm very close to my family, and everything that you are saying is, to me, extremely important. And how you are articulating and how you are talking about it makes me excited because I want to kind of get more in depth on these types of things. Did you know after you were done playing football that you wanted to become an agent and you wanted to get in this space, or did that kind of just happen organically and you just kind of fell into that?
I fell into it. It happened organically. When I was done playing, I got into coaching. I started coaching at Destrehan High School, and Justin was going into his junior year of high school, which was his first year transitioning of being a receiver. So for myself, just wanted to be connected to the game, wanted to obviously help my brother transition into that space of getting recruited and just giving back to my community and finding ways of just really wanting to be, one of the top coaches in the country, wanting to be a head coach. That was my aspiration because I just had a strong desire to be connected to the game. So, within my 2 years of coaching at the high school, I was able to watch Justin transform into a high-profile receiver. So by me applying this information to him, along with another great friend that he had by the name of Michael Young, he ended up going to Notre Dame. We had another D tackle by the name of Gerald Wilbon. He ended up going to University of Texas, and I was very implemented into his process when it came to recruiting because his family structure needed assistance when it came to somebody that actually been through that process before. So I was able to sit back and kind of dissect this process. And, I ended up coaching at Destrehan for 2 years. I coached at University of Houston for 2 years where I got my master's degree in human resource development. And then I got a great opportunity with Mike Bobo at Colorado State in 2019. And, that was great for me. But obviously, coaching comes with a lot of adversity. Even within the pandemic, football was a little up in the air. And then I also gained this great opportunity to work down in Dallas at a junior college by the name of Navarro. And that really opened my eyes and perspective into, how much of a need and a value former players were, or guys like myself that wanted to give back to the game was needed in this area. And within that space, Justin was going within his junior year of college. My family had obviously put a lot of trust in me with the process and sharing information when it came to interviewing agents and financial advisors and just the whole process of building his team. And I had a great conversation with my family at that time. Obviously, I was coaching at a junior college. I wanted more than the position that I was in. So, I was doing a lot of interviewing at the time, interviewing with a lot of Division I and NFL jobs. And I had a real sit down with my family in regards to, what will be best moving forward. And honestly, working with my brother obviously was the best opportunity for myself at the time. So that's when, I started to cross over more into the sports management role, and then it converted over to the agency space. The first thing I did was more appearance for Justin. We did, youth football camps in San Diego and LA. We did a youth football camp in San Antonio and also Austin. And by me witnessing that experience of, putting those type of social events together, community events. He has his J Jets Foundation in Minnesota, which we do backpack giveaways, turkey drive, toy drive. So being a part of that process and just being a family member organically pushed me into that space of being an agent to where now I share these forms of information with guys, that need that form of assistance.
Man.
You're telling me short side option got you that many coaching jobs, dude?
This is
I'm saying, you telling me short side option got you that many coaching jobs, dude?
Honestly, the coaching space, man, you gotta thrive on your own, man.
Absolutely.
It's a space that I had to really network and politic at conventions and really reach out to coaches. And honestly, You know, I got great responses, but you know, being a former player and being into that coaching space, you're a advocate, you're also a threat.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, I became a threat into that space, which I understood that, you know, by me just naturally gravitating to a locker room. So I converted over to a space that honestly became organic. I didn't think that I was going to be within the agent space, but you know, now that I have been in it, it's still the same form of being a coach because I mentor players
Right.
now. You know, I mentor professional, collegiate, high school players, and it gives me a form in a sense of building a roster. So it's kind of like the same token in a space. And obviously with the NIL space, it grows to the point to where you can build that roster even more.
You're obviously this is my last non-football question, but you're obviously a very high-level thinker, right? Your brain works at a very high level. I appreciate that. I respect that. Me and Jay talk about all this kind of stuff on the side too. Have you always been that way, or is that something that you had to grow into post-college career? Is that something that you've always had an interest in and something that you've always done is think at a high level?
I've always been that way, man. You know, just playing that quarterback position, I naturally gravitated towards that. That's not something that, you know, I did going to college. You know, I was always that form of leader, you know, as a family member, just being an older brother and having younger siblings to look after, or, you know, just being, you know, a natural leader when it came to my position. You know, so, you know, I've always, you know, had that form of role within me. And I feel like it, you know, grew over time as I continuously matured and just became open-minded to information. You know, going to master's degree at University of Houston, that opened my mind to a lot of different avenues and a lot of different spaces that was outside of football. You know, it's kind of hard in some cases to, you know, really tap into, you know, some of those spaces fully because there's such a dedication to being the best football player that you can become. So when football slowed down for me, I started to pick up in other areas. And which, you know, if it's philosophical or philanthropy or whatever the case may be, I just added that to my, you know, portfolio.
I love that. Okay, let's get to the coaching, Jordan Jefferson, right now. You obviously big LSU guy, obviously. I'm assuming you watched the game. I'm assuming you saw the ups and downs of the game. Give me your take on what you saw, because obviously you were in very public quarterback battles your time at LSU, right? You're extremely athletic, had a bunch of talent. What do you see with the team right now? What do you see in the game that you saw on Sunday, and what do you think that they should do differently?
What I saw in the game was a team that definitely is working on chemistry. Obviously, the first half was a bit slow in regards of, you know, just gelling together and having that identity. And I feel like the second half they picked up, you know, on that identity and started to play more together within the second half. Obviously, it takes, you know, for you to win a game, you have to win two phases of the ball, and having, you know, special teams as one of those phases to where you didn't win is obviously, you know, a hard detriment to overcome. So, you know, I really see a lot of growth. I see a lot of potential. Obviously, you know, that's the first game that was played under Coach Kelly's leadership. You know, it's the first game that, you know, the quarterback and this person and that person with on the roster had the opportunity, you know, to put themselves in that position of success. So I think, you know, with a lot of practice, a lot of due diligence, gelling together, they will have better opportunities and better showcases moving forward. I think the quarterback definitely had a lot of efficiency. If you look at his completion rate, it was very high. What was it, about
75%?
35.
Yeah,
75%, which, you know, at that level, that's pretty successful. You know, he had about a 7 yards per attempt per throw. That's pretty good. So you're saying every 2 attempts you're going to get a first down. Now, we would love to see more down the field chances. You know, I felt like there were some plays that were left on the field, some plays that, you know, if the execution was made, the result could have been different within the moment. But, execution is marquee. Chemistry is marquee. I also felt like they need more of a running game, but obviously not having John Emery for the first 2 games is a very big detriment, with him being a 5-star running back. So when your quarterback is leading in rushing and, besides his rushing attack, there's really not much in the running game, that's kind of tough on the offense. Now, they had plenty of opportunities to win that game. They shot themselves in the foot in a lot of cases, and the only thing that they could do from it is review the film, really be coachable, really, be self-reflective and find out what that identity is moving forward, because honestly, the schedule gets tougher and it's not getting easier from here on.
So from what you saw in the game, if you go through, I guess, the offseason and where the team was, the guys that came in, from what you saw in the game, how far off or how close to what you thought you'd see in game 1 of the Brian Kelly era? Where was that in terms of those two things fitting together?
I don't think it's far off. Obviously, when you have a lot of transfers and a lot of new faces that are in these positions, when you're not too deep within your recruiting class, obviously, that can kind of see a difference within the outcome you may ask for. But within the first year, I see a lot of growth. I see a lot of finding out who we are. Not necessarily sure how much success or how much failure it will be, but I feel like there will be forms of adversity. So I think, even if you look at the upcoming recruiting class, I think in the state of Louisiana, they're doing a great job of, securing guys like Sheldon Sampson and, Ashton Stamps down in Rummel. And there's a safety in Zachary, just grabbing certain guys within Louisiana that are talented. So we will see an incline. It's just a matter of time. Now, this year, obviously, they may have, some tough roads to go down. Obviously, the schedule is pretty needed for them to have, the success that they want at home. So obviously going 0-1 at home is pretty tough, and hopefully they can pick up on that home field advantage moving forward.
Oh, we talked about it a little bit earlier. You were a part of a quarterback competition yourself, and you've seen what's going on with LSU with Garrett Nussmeier and Jaden Daniels. When you are splitting reps like that all through camp, really a quarterback isn't actually decided until the beginning of the year. How hard is it to form that kind of camaraderie with the team, or not even with the team, maybe with the wide receivers, offensive line, getting snap counts right? You saw some of that stuff happen early on with LSU in the first game. Whenever you're in that position, what can you kind of do to fix it quickly if you haven't been named the starter, or you're immediately named the starter and now you're getting all the snaps?
That really just forms down to being on the same page when it comes to splitting reps in camp. Those reps are kind of equally distributed. I'm quite sure Daniel's got more reps than, other quarterbacks because he's a lot older than some of those guys, and he, is coming with playing experience versus a kid that's coming out of high school. So I'm quite sure that transaction leaned more towards Daniels, and he did receive more of the reps. Now, Daniels would just have to come in and be a lot more efficient, have more of a vocal leadership when it comes to having everybody on the same page offensively. Chemistry comes naturally. It does take time to build chemistry, but I think throughout the time of spring, fall, summer and fall camp, there has been a lot of opportunities to build that. So honestly, it just has to keep growing, keep gravitating, and really just keep practicing on it, man. Keep working.
If you hear the fans, obviously, because we hear them, they tweet at us, they're in our chat. Obviously, the world's crumbling down. LSU's not going to win a game this year. They're very bad. Brian Kelly was the wrong hire. They love to press the panic button, and they don't really understand I'm not saying they don't understand, but it's hard to grasp it takes time to build chemistry with a new team, all these types of things. Oh, the O-line was supposed to be better, but they're not, right? And they said, well, okay, how do you combat that? Like, how, as a quarterback and as an offense, how do you compensate for an offensive line that really hasn't gelled yet, right? Obviously, that's probably a big reason why the run game wasn't as successful and as consistent. That was probably why maybe Jaden Daniels had some happy feet early on in the game, but then you saw a change in the second half. Is it quick passes? Is it more motions? Is it more recognition from Jaden Daniels? How do you combat an offensive line that's still trying to come together and make them successful with what they have right now on the field?
Finding identity and really knowing your personnel, knowing the strengths of, your personnel. Are we a inside zone team or are we a outside zone team? I'm quite sure going into that game and obviously going into the spring offensively, you have a certain scheme that you would like to go in based off your personnel. So it's really just getting comfortable within your scheme. That's the first time that they were able to go against somebody else besides themselves. So they really got put to test. And, good coaches, good organizations and programs, they're able to make adjustments, which we were able to see in the second half. I'm quite sure that conversation at halftime just came from, guys, let's just relax and play the ball that we know how to play. Let's stay within our game plan and watch our success. So it really just comes to, having faith, being comfortable, playing with confidence, which moving forward, I'm quite sure that confidence will be built. It comes with a lot of film study, just being on the same page. I used to a lot of times go and sit down with my offensive coordinator to have, a better concept of our game plan, to the point to where when it came to facilitating and being efficient on the field, everybody can understand, exactly what we expect and exactly what the standard is. Obviously, football comes with a lot of adversity. It comes with a lot of challenges, and football is a game of inches. If the right tackle steps too far to, the right, that could throw off the running game. If the running back doesn't take the proper footing, there's certain things that can, affect the football game and the scheme. So honestly, it just comes to really being coachable, really looking at the film, correcting the issues, eliminating mistakes and missed assignments. They may have a lot of missed assignments that we don't know of that could be the result of what we saw. So once they correct all of their imperfections, I can see, a better result moving forward.
So I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, but to me it
Sounds like you're about to.
It sounds like you're on the side of it wasn't as bad as Rome is burning as it sounded like that we've kind of heard throughout, as a resounding sound throughout town and kind of throughout like sports media when it comes to watching that game. What is your take? How do you see it? Do you see it as oh man, they're in a bad spot, or a lot of the things they can do that they've done can be fixed and they're on a good path of being able to be in a good team?
When you lose a head coach, that automatically puts you in a tough spot. That puts you in a tough spot with recruiting. That puts you in a tough spot with your current personnel. And you're not necessarily sure what the future may be moving forward. So when you bring in a new head coach, he now has to come in and pick up where that coach left off. Now, we all know last year's schedule wasn't that great. And they had a lot of adversity that they had to overcome. And to come in and kind of clean that type of concept up, I can imagine it's very tough. I mean, even from a recruiting standpoint, you recruit late. When it comes to, building your team, you have to sit down with each individual one by one, and you didn't recruit any of these guys. So now you have to make sure everybody buy in. Everybody's on the same page. So, with them losing, by 1 point, I don't think it was a bad performance. It's something that they can grow from. Now, we would like to see more from the running game. We would like to see more from certain individuals offensively and defensively to put themselves in better situations. But when you sit back and look at the statistics in certain areas, you were able to see positives. But obviously, we all know the result when you hit the panic button. You panic currently, and then when things get back on track, you fully stand behind. So I stand behind the improvement that will be moving forward. And I have, definitely faith in the performance that I saw. It's just a more getting on the same page and correcting the mistakes.
I mean, I have confidence simply in the fact that you saw a different team from the first and second quarter than you did in the third and fourth quarter, and you saw a better team towards the end of the third and fourth quarter when the game was on line. When you have to have it, gotta have it drive 99 yards, a minute and 20 seconds, 2 timeouts. Everybody knew what they were supposed to do. Everybody had the right role. Everybody was making plays. And, I want to get your perspective in that situation because you have to go the absolute length of the field in the last drive of the game. It's either do or die. You either do this or you lose, right? And you got to go 99.5 yards in a minute and 20 seconds, and you do it. How hard is that and how impressive? Because I don't think people are giving that drive enough credit.
I don't think people really give that second half a lot of credit. I mean, even from the defensive standpoint of forcing a turnover on the 1 yard line or, getting a big stop to actually, put Florida State in position to punt with 2 minutes left. I mean, that was very big. I mean, if it came from a sack or, I think it's a lot of credit that should be given to that drive. Obviously, going 99 yards and overcoming that form of adversity is pretty tough. I think, Daniels made some great completions on that play. He had a nice over route to number 7, a nice scramble on, 3rd and 15 to get the first down. He made great decisions. There was no mistakes that was really made, no interceptions, no real fumbles like that. Obviously, a lot of their mistakes came from missed assignments, came from special teams, when it came to blocking the field goal, not stepping too far from the left, and both the edge rusher and the left tackle putting the hand on the guy that obviously is splitting the defender. So it's small things that could be corrected, and I can see forms of improvement from that second half offensively and defensively. Once, you get all 3 of these phases on the same page, you could definitely see a different outcome.
Are we going to see you in Baton Rouge for any games this year?
Absolutely. I'm more of a conference. Type
I get it. Yeah, the big games. Big game. You're a big game.
I want to see the big show. And honestly, a lot of the guys that are on the team, man, I'm fans of those guys. I mentor some of them, and really just sharing organic information from a former player standpoint. So, I'll definitely come to a couple of games and support some of my guys that I work with personally, and really sit there as a fan and just sit back and see, really the result of what's going to happen with the Tigers. But I know this year there'll be a lot of challenges and adversity, just being on a first year basis, and it's really about just finding out what that identity will be.
Man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on. This was one of my favorite conversations that we've had. I thoroughly enjoyed having this. I would love anytime you want to come back on and talk football, talk life, just philosophize, if you will.
You got the link.
Anytime you want to do it, please come back on because this was very, very enjoyable for me. I know Jay thinks the same way.
We got to get you on with mom and dad, man. Since they put 3 of y'all through LSU, like
Yes.
that's impressive,
Yes.
yo. I got to get what they've been doing
What's the task
we
number?
starting to get to that side of it, right? I got to know. I need to know.
Right.
No doubt.
Right. I mean, it really just came from just being supportive, man, and just being there for each other as a family, man. A lot of people don't know, Jay, when we used to have spring break, man, or sometime in the summer times, man, I used to go down, and get with my brothers and put them in the yard. And grab the ball, put the cleats on, and let's go. Let's work out. Let's put on a show. And, at that time, if I was 18, Ricky had to be 14, 13. Justin had to be 8 or 9. So it's just been years of, just grinding together and overcoming adversities in a lot of different ways. And, nothing really came easy. And obviously we all been through our challenges. And at the end of the day, just being consistent through life and just putting in a lot of hard work, like our parents always preach to us, man, we're able to see, a lot of benefits, as we continue to grow. So it's not about being, hot, it's about being legendary. Yeah. And, within our spaces, we all are legends. So I appreciate y'all inviting me on the show. I'm obviously fans of the show. I've always, had a great relationship with you all. Back in my times at LSU, and it's just good to see guys thriving in different spaces outside of what they've mastered already. Obviously it takes 10 years to master something. Obviously you guys master baseball, master football, mastered the art of journalism or commentating. I mastered football in other spaces as well. So really just growing in other lanes, I commend y'all and respect what y'all doing.
I appreciate that, man. Hey, real quick, who's the best athlete of y'all three?
Shit, Justin, come on.
Hey, I just wanted to see. I don't know.
Hey, come on. That's a no-brainer. We're talking about a $30 million receiver. Come on,
you're
man.
right. You're right.
Tell your parents to put one more out. LSU needs the help.
Shit, to be honest with you, I have a nephew, man, that's 1 year old, Isaiah Jefferson. That's my brother's 1 year old and shit. I'm next, man. So we build. We grow.
There you go.
There it is.
There we go. Build it from a young age.
Scholarship's already offered.
I love it.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. Take it easy. Enjoy watching your brother ball out this year. And when you come into town, man, hit us up. We'd love to hang out.
Most definitely. I want to come on the show and be live, man.
Come on.
But I
Yeah, there we
appreciate
go.
y'all.
Yeah.
We'll definitely talk soon.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, man.
Definitely.
Thank
We'll
you.
do it.
Did the Vikings and Saints play?
Yes, sir. All right.
Later.
What a guy.
I don't know if they play, but hey, what a thinker he
A lot of
is.
insight. Deep.
Deep, bro.
He's always been like that.
I don't think people know that.
No, he's always been like that, man. He's always been like that. He's real insightful, man. He's real thoughtful.
I think he changed a lot of people's perception on him right there.
Yeah, 100%.
Because people don't know him.
That's what. That was the reason why I was like, he'd be great to come on, because I don't think people really know who the real him is, and that's a great dude to get to know, man. So
Hey, he is. I think we need to get him on talking football a lot more.
yeah,
That was mind blowing.
What?
That blew my mind.
I could see.
Because I talked to him a little bit at the scrimmage, and I was like, "Oh, this is not what I expected," because of just I've never talked to him before.
Right.
And then obviously all of the narratives that came out about him whenever he was at LSU, and we have to do this 2-quarterback thing, and it's Jesus Christ, he could have handled a lot more than they put on his plate.
yep,
No doubt.
What the hell?
yep.
No doubt. That's all Leslie.
Lots of
Les
shoes.
Miles.
That's all anybody wanted to talk about. He had a ton of shoes. Like
Guy had a rocket of an arm, could run.
Yep.
They didn't utilize his skill set at all.
Georgia
Or his
Tech,
brains.
though.
Or his
That's
brains.
what I'm saying.
Or his brains.
I
What
feel
a
like
great guy. That was awesome.
I feel like he had toss dive and short side option pretty much down the first day. We could have gone somewhere else. We could
I
have
think he
expanded that
understood.
playbook.
I think he understood
got
those
that one.
concepts pretty well.
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
Those
My
are easy for him.
goodness.
Yeah.
Come on,
I mean,
man.
and look at
Let's
the
expand this thing a little bit.
Yeah, look at the laundry list of places he coached. That's a
And
testament.
listen, and not only
to him.
was he coaching, now he's running high level business for his brother. Like, listen, I have a foundation that the foundation that I have. I don't run it day to day operations of it. That shit's hard, man. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that makes it successful. Like, there's a lot of organization skills. There's a lot of business minds that goes behind it. Like, that's hard. He's doing NIL stuff. He's mentoring athletes. He's doing a lot of agent stuff for his brother. Like, that's a lot of high-level business acumen, which to me is almost more impressive than the stuff that he's able to regurgitate from the on-the-field stuff.
And it's funny too, because it's all under the same hood, if you will. So for him, he's applying a lot of stuff that he's learned, went through, experienced, all of that through his life, and he's able to kind of keep cultivating that into a career for himself and kind of helping guys along the way as well. So it's pretty cool to see where he's at and what he's doing and how,
Dude, that's
how things
awesome.
are working out for him.
What are the chances we get Justin on here?
We might be able to
I think we get him in studio. We get Justin
get
on.
him in studio, get his brother on, have a little family
A
visit.
little family affair. I mean, I know Ricky too.
Yeah, we get Ricky on too,
Yeah.
and the nephew.
And the nephew. Again,
1 year old.
Let's go.
1 year old. God, that was awesome. That fired me up.
Forgot what I was about to say.
Well-
Oh, a lot of compliments in the chat.
Really?
About Jets
Nice.
or about Jordan Jefferson.
Nice. Next time we get him on, we'll promote it to where like you can ask questions and you can kind of interact a little bit with him. But what I took from his reaction and his assessment of the game is a lot of the stuff that we had mentioned on Monday, and it's a lot of stuff that I think people don't. It's hard to fathom. It's hard to grasp it if you've never been in the middle of something like as big as a coaching change and like putting together a team. And he kept hitting on chemistry, and it takes time to build it, and it takes like you can go through the spring and the summer and the fall, but it's different when it's on the field, and you have to. The coaches are learning the players, and the players are learning the coaches, and everybody's got to be bought in. Not saying that they're not, because I think that they are. But when stuff goes on the field and once there's some adversity, you have to figure out who's going to be able to handle it and how they handle it.
So for me, it's like, look, I get it. You got to understand that. I would imagine that. Not imagine. I know. Everyone in that building, and everyone outside of that building that's fans of, all wanted the same result, right? We all wanted to win. Now there's understanding as to why things happen the way it happened, and I guess the reason why it seems like every former player we've talked to and people that I've talked to inside the building, they're not on panic button.
Right.
And it seems like the other way around has been on panic button because we didn't get the win, right? But for me, it's like I'm sitting here and I'm saying, man, if you told me we were going to muff punts every game, if you told me we were going to miss blocking assignments and literally just miss assignments on extra points and field goals, if you told me we'd never be able to get off the field on third down, I tell you this wasn't LSU. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's not going to keep happening. And those are things I think are a lot easier to fix than what some of the problems we've had here in the past, which is, to me, all right, we lose the game, which is not what you wanted, but when you see it happen the way it happened, I'm like, man, we got a shot.
Now, look, there may be some things that aren't great throughout the course of the year, as far as, like, maybe the running game is average. Maybe the running game isn't our strength, right? But that's not going to be because of lack of assignment awareness. Like, that's not going to be because the guys don't know where they're supposed to go. That may just be because of the personnel that we have and that we had to go into the field of battle with, right? I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but to think that we're going to rush for 200-plus yards a game, like, that may not happen. But I have confidence that we're probably going to get creative in ways to find out how to make the running game respectable.
Yeah.
Right? I think that you're going to see the offensive line start to gel and understand where they're supposed to go cohesively as a group. I think you're going to understand that you're going to see the defense understand, like, hey, on third downs, we got to tighten our shit up. We can't give them maybe as much cushion. Maybe we have to, I think you're going to see the coaches understand, okay, we're not getting to them with our front four. We lost our best interior defensive lineman. Let's figure out a different creative way how to get to the quarterback to help our guys out on third down. I think you're going to see the quarterbacks throw the ball quicker. I think you're going to see things that you saw in the second half. All of these things are adjustments that happen throughout the course of a year, right? Now, everything may not be as good as it was. Everybody take 2019 out their head because that's not going to happen this year, right? Like, that offense, that team, like that. Listen, they're talking about that team being the greatest in the history of college football.
Say, we say that's not going to happen this year. Bro, that's happened one year ever
That's what I mean.
in the history of college football.
That's what I mean.
All of these teams. Like,
that's what I mean.
So stop thinking that that's what you need to be a good team here. Stop thinking that that's what you need to be a national championship team here. It's not. And hell, we didn't even know it when it started.
Right.
So, like, you got to take it year by year. And get what you
temper
got.
the expectations a little bit. Understand the reality of the situation. But also understand that losing a game by 1 point and not playing to your best and really still having a chance to win that game isn't the end-all, be-all. Right? Those improvements are going to be made. We have a guy who understands that the improvements need to be made. He understands that there needs to be adjustments. You saw some of the adjustments. I think Jordan said it perfectly in terms of that chemistry needs to continue to be built.
Yeah.
Right? Focus on that.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw Hard Knocks. Everybody's been watching Hard Knocks, right? There's a lot of hype behind the Detroit Lions. Is it because that they have they're extremely talented, a lot more than they were last year? No. Why do you think people are high on the Lions this year? Because they see the chemistry and they see
magnetic, man.
Exactly. They see the type of energy that is brought into the locker room. What I liked, now I know it's the cameras and you can say things and you can twist things, but listen, I've been in a room telling me that I didn't make a team. Professionally in my life, I've been in a room saying, hey, we're going to go ahead and take you off the roster. You're going to go ahead and send you back down to AAA. That's just not fun, right? That's hard for you to fathom, and you want to sit there and you want to motherfuck these guys, and you want to sit there and you want to let them hear what you really have to say. They brought these kids in there, these young men, and MCDC is sitting next to him, and he does not want to tell them that they didn't make the team because he feels like they did everything that they could. They worked their ass off, and he respected that. And so what he told them was the honest-to-God truth, but also showed them that he cared for them, right? And their responses to him were, man, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for everything that you've done for me. I see what you're doing here, and I'm so grateful that I was able to be a part of it just for a little bit. That shit doesn't happen.
I'm glad
when you get kicked off, when you get released.
I'm glad you touched on that, bro, because we've been in those situations before. I know a lot of guys who've seen that, and they've realized that that's not normal, man. Like for someone to tell you, quote unquote, in a way you're not good enough, you're not making that team, and then for you to sit there and just compliment them after because they understand the opportunity you gave them, how you treated them, how you cared about them, and you telling them the truth to their face about stuff. There is nothing, as an athlete, there is nothing more that you could really be asking for in those situations. And so for those dudes to be being told, hey, you're leaving the team, and they're all complimenting these guys, speaks volumes to what they're doing.
Hey, how many years did Gerard Davis? How many years has Gerard Davis played in the NFL?
Oh God,
Right?
I want to say 8 to 10.
Linebacker. He's been there for a long time. Veteran. Been on some teams. Been very good. Been a starter. Hey, listen. Like, I appreciate you coming in here, showing up every day, bringing the effort, bringing your experience, being a good, role model, bringing a good teammate to the other guys. There's just not room. Hey, he took that thing like a champ and then stood up and said, hey, man, I appreciate what y'all are doing. Keep doing what y'all are doing. I'm fans of y'all. Like, that's a veteran who has every right to be salty and bitter because maybe he didn't make the team because it was a numbers game, money-wise.
Yep.
Whatever the reason was, he didn't feel bitter or salty because he understood where they were going and what they were trying to do, and he understood this guy is not bullshitting him. And that is how you build chemistry, is having trust in the guy who's running the show, and that brings trust in the guy underneath them, and that brings trust to the team, and that brings trust to your teammates. And that is part of building chemistry. And I think that's what Brian Kelly is trying to build at LSU, is saying, hey, listen, this shit, it starts with me, but this is a trickle-down thing. Everybody's got to be bought in. Everybody's got to have that type of togetherness, right? You have to want to do this for the guy next to you and for me. And you have to trust that I'm going to have your best interest at heart, and you have to trust that I'm going to tell you the truth, whether you like the truth or not, right? Just you're men, you're grown men, young men, but grown men, and this is how it is. Like, I'm not going to disrespect you, but I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to tell you straight up what we need, and if you can't give me what we need, be a good teammate and be there for the guy who can. That's how you build chemistry, and that's what you see in MCDC and Hard Knocks. That's why the Detroit Lions, who haven't gained a whole ton of talent, but they've gained a lot of hype, and then they're sold out for opening day. I don't know the last time they've been sold out in
It's been
Detroit.
years. I don't remember what year it was, but I read something that said it's been years since.
Probably since when they drafted Calvin Johnson.
I mean, that is how you build that with a team, and be able to go there and watch that and see that, and him really feel like he wants them to succeed. That goes a long way, man.
Like if I'm in the city of Detroit right now,
Go a
it's
long
hard
way,
for me to
man.
believe. It's hard
Go
for
a
me to
long
believe
way.
when we kick this thing off that the team we put out there from start to finish ain't gonna give it all to you. Whatever all is, whatever they got, it's
No
hard
doubt.
for me to believe you ain't gonna get all of it. That's what else can you get behind? Then we figure out if we're good enough or not. You know?
Yep. That goes back to that's why the reason I brought that up is because of what Jordan was saying about building chemistry and how it takes time. Listen, this took a whole year. MCDs took a whole year to be able to do that. People thought he was stupid and crazy and this guy's rah-rah, he's too much, it's never gonna work out. No. That's just gonna work.
Yep.
Because every coach on the staff, everybody in the building believes that it's gonna work. That's why it's gonna work. And that takes some time.
The only pushback I would give, because I do think that people are starting to see and realize what Brian Kelly inherited. You talked about it, but then it's different when you see it on the field. From Kansas State to playing Florida State, this was a massive undertaking that I don't even think he realized how much I'm going to have to do.
No, I think he knew. I think that's why you see his answers the way they are and his demeanor the way it is, right? Like, I think he knows.
He hasn't projected anything to anybody about how good LSU is going to be.
I think he knew, like, hey, I'm not saying we're not going to be competitive and successful, because I think he truly does believe that, which I truly do believe that too. But I also think he says, hey, like, it's going to take some time, people. Like, listen, we may not be as sharp early on, but I believe by the end of the year we're gonna make some people nervous. We're gonna have a chance to take down some teams that maybe we shouldn't.
See, I'm not even in the camp of it's a 1-year thing. I'm looking at 2 to 3. I mean, you sign him into a 10-year deal for a reason. I think that even he's taking like a macro approach to this. Like, we may not be very good. 7 wins. What does that get you anyway? Like, there's no reason. Now, obviously, you get into where LSU fans are. They start talking themselves into, oh man, LSU can win 9 games this year. They could win 10 games this year. You see the effort. You see the product that they put on the field.
No, of course they can, for sure. Like, before the season, like, that's.
I don't think Brian Kelly thinks they can win 10 games.
I'm not saying he does. No, I wouldn't say he doesn't think that they can. But as far as it being a 2-3 year thing, I don't know if it's a 2 or 3. It's not a rebuild, right? Like, I think that if he gets through this year, and you see this, and you see them build that chemistry, and you still see them build that continuity, and you do this, and you bring in that recruiting class, I think it can happen. I'm not saying national championship next year, but I'm thinking that you're going to see a vast improvement from this year to next year. And I think you're going to see a vast improvement from
start of the year
to the end of the year.
Oh, I do too. That's what I'm saying. They're going to get incrementally better.
What are you going to say? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I was just going to ask you, like, in your mind, what is it that makes you think this thing is, I don't know, what, 3 years out, 2 years out, 3 years out from being a real contender?
Just because of the way that he kind of brought the people that he brought in was, all right, let's see how much can I control this for it to be off. It was so off the rails when he got here that he's like, I need to hire Mike Denbrock. I need to bring in people that I can trust. I need to bring in people. I can't take any chances. And when I come in
but do we know that hasn't been his MO in every place he's gone?
Right, but it works.
I don't know.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's worked for him in the past, but I think what he realized when he got to LSU and he saw the state that the football program was in, he was like, if we can get this thing just to the point where it's not embarrassing. Like, a lot of people are going to point back to last year where they're like, oh, they still won 6 games. Yet they had 10 NFL draft picks, and then they had a roster that was left with 50 people in it.
So I guess that's the point for me. That's the biggest thing here is that, look, at the end of the day,
he wasn't trying to build a contender. He was trying to build something that could just compete.
But they did compete. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
My point is this: is at the end of the day, is that any coach will tell you it's the Jimmies and the Joes, not the X's and the O's, right? So if he can come in here, install his game, install his coaching, install his thing, the Jimmies and the Joes are here.
Yeah.
Shit can turn quick.
Yeah.
Quit.
Like the guys.
My point is, I don't think it's a 3-year process. You know what I mean? Like he just said, hey, we got to bring in what seems like an overhaul, what seems like such a big task, and in a way, it kind of is. But it's, if I could get this in place, the Jimmies and Joes are already here,
right,
and we're gonna bring more in, and we're gonna keep bringing them in. You know what I mean?
A lot of and that's what I'm saying. A lot of what he's trying to play with right now are not Jimmys and Joes that were meant to be at LSU.
No, that's not. See, I disagree with that a little bit.
That I'm 100% disagreeing with that.
He brought in 20 people from the transfer portal. That's not a normal.
Well, because you didn't have a full roster.
What I'm saying.
But these guys, these guys that came in still have the ability. If they weren't going to go here, they were going to go to places like Florida and Alabama and Tennessee. Like there's some of these. Miles, the offensive lineman could have gone anywhere in the country he wanted to. He was the number 1 offensive lineman in the transfer portal, right? He could have transferred anywhere he wanted to. There was a lot of guys. Now maybe there's a few that came here that didn't need to go anywhere else, but maybe these guys are people that nobody knew about. That guy from McNeese is pretty freaking good. He may not be a first-round guy in the NFL, but he competed and he was in the right spots, right? Like there's guys here that can compete now, right? That maybe they weren't LSU guys out of high school, but they developed into guys that are legitimate guys that can play here. Now, whether their guys are going to recruit, that's not the case, but you don't need them to be right now. I think he has enough Jimmies and the Joes on campus right now to compete if he can put his stamp and they can buy in and they can improve. Like I don't think that we're as depleted as talent-wise as people think.
But
I think we're more depleted as far as team chemistry.
Yeah, but
right
the
now.
thing turned into a shit show. It didn't turn into underperforming, I don't know. I didn't even know the right word.
There's no talent on this team.
It didn't turn into that. So, that's not the thing.
They were coached.
Exactly. So, for me, it's like, if he can come in here, and that's the hardest part, is getting people to completely buy in. But once again, when you're left with a roster of 50, and you have to bring in, you're one of the highest amount of teams, or teams with the amount of transfer portal players, right? That doesn't sound right for an LSU. When you have to bring in that many players, when you have to gut the house and you bring in an entire new staff, that is hard to put all together for game one of the season.
Game one, yes.
Simple. So, if you want to sit here and compare it to Florida, I don't know what they did. I just know they didn't
have that many.
I just know they didn't have to do near as much as what was done here. So, with
And,
that being said,
they inherited a first-round talent quarterback. The guy's there.
he's already there.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, it's like their situation and the situation, it's not the same.
That's what I'm. Yeah,
And it just
yeah.
is what
We're
it
all on the
is,
same page
right?
on that, for
So,
sure.
and I know you're not saying that too, but it was very easy for LSU fans to be like, well, look at what happened in Florida, and then look at what happened here. We're reading the same book, but we're not on the same chapter when we started. Okay, like they're in a different spot than we were when we started. So you can't sit here and say that we're running the same race. We're not.
And LSU fans it'd be very interesting if you go for 2 and win. It's like, oh, look, he was able to bring together a team that scrapped together, clawed out a win,
And that's why I keep harping on the mistake, the big mistakes that were made. Not in a sense to keep tearing down those players, but in a sense that the big mistakes that really hurt the game, that's not gonna keep happening here. It just won't.
Listen,
there's way too many guys who can just stand back there and just catch the ball.
There's a lot of what ifs.
There's way too many guys who can just step into the right gap.
Right.
That's not gonna keep happening here.
And that's
That's not talent.
So if we do that and we win by 6,
That's
what are you
not
sitting here
talent.
saying? Oh, we can still work. The
You go
offense
ahead-
look great
listen,
towards it. You're looking at it completely
You
different.
say one play is different. You go ahead and you win that game. Let's say one play, and let's not even count the turnovers. Let's not count the missed field goal.
Right.
Let's say they decide to go for 2 at that moment. Let's just they don't block the extra point and they get the 2-point conversion. We don't know if they would have done it or not. Let's just say for hypothetical, they go ahead and they do that
and win ugly.
and win ugly. The narrative is going to be, wow, did you see the adjustments Brian Kelly made in the second half? Did you see that fourth quarter? Did you see that that drive?
Here's the
at
first half
99
stats.
yards?
Here's the second half stats.
Did you see them overcome adversity? How much better coached are we? That from that one play would have changed the entire narrative. Now I know it didn't happen, and we're not. Who's to say that we wouldn't have gotten the 2-point conversion? But as bad as people say that we played, and we didn't play great, right? There's a lot of things that we could have done better. One thing goes differently.
Get a win.
You get a win. The narrative changes, and it's not, this is doomsday. LSU's not very good. Oh, my God, we don't have the talent. It's like, oh, did you see? Did you see the adjustments? Did you see what we did? Did you see how good Jaden Daniels played? That's what it would be.
Yep.
And then they're like, you have a buffer game against Southern to kind of get it even more figured out. Who's just said they can't beat Mississippi State?
And that's the difference between that game and that loss and the UCLA loss.
Yep.
The UCLA loss, it wasn't one play. It was the whole game. It was everywhere. Nobody knew what the fuck they were doing. They were looking around. They were blaming their teammates. They were getting mad at each other. That's what was going on.
And
this
they got,
one wasn't
and they
that
got
case.
blown
out.
Out
It
the
wasn't
stadium.
close. It wasn't
even close.
This one, you fought till the end. You had an opportunity to win. You go ahead. One little small thing changes. Boy, talk about how much different people are talking. Now, they may not be saying, oh, we're going to be a national championship.
No.
But they wouldn't be, oh, the season's over because of the loss.
That's the coach.
And that's because of that's not because of the talent. The talent is going to continue to develop.
The talent's going to get better.
And get better.
Yeah.
Exactly.
100%.
And that's more of the point earlier, is that they're kind of scotch taped this thing together with guys. Sure, they can play, but he hasn't been able to bring in people like that's why I called it a 3-year plan where it's Walker Howard is a guy that he wants at quarterback. He starts finding people that fit his scheme. I don't know what they're going to do on the offensive coordinator front because I think that was it felt like a little bit of a placeholder. He wanted Tommy Rees first, couldn't get his guy from Notre Dame, brings in Denbrock, somebody
he's comfortable with,
pseudo-trust and is
Familiar
comfortable
with,
and he knows it's not going to be I was going to say it's not going to be a debacle, but it didn't look. The first half was pretty telling of what the deficiencies are at LSU, and the offensive line was not very good.
Yeah, but there's a way to mask that. There's ways to get over. Like the offensive line will get better, but there's ways to
scheme around that.
Yes, there's ways to scheme it to make them better, right? Faster.
But my only complaint, or if there's people that are complaining about Brian Kelly and him coming to LSU and what you thought would be different, it would be that you could control the controllables, and that is not what happened. Those are what actually cost you the game. You would expect Brian Kelly-led team to be able to block down on an extra point. You'd expect them to be able to catch punts. You would expect some of these things to happen where if that was Coach O this year and he was still on the team, it would be same old Coach O.
But that's not. But the muff punt is not on
That's
Brian
that's called
Kelly.
a resume, though.
That is
right.
no doubt. But the block punt is like at some point you can do everything you want. The player's got to make a play or not make a play. Like. Now, I'll give the scheme, right? The coaches can take that, right? Okay, hey, blocking down on the field goal, on the extra point, and that kind of stuff, I can give that to Brian Kelly and the coaching staff, right? But again, there's a lot of new guys that are trying to do that together. Like, I'll give that to him. But as far as the muff punt, I'm not going to put that on Brian Kelly. That's not on him.
How can you? What head coach
That's
do you?
not on him. Like, that's not his fault. He put a guy out there that is extremely athletic and extremely talented that he had a lot of confidence in putting out there. Unfortunately, first game jitters, whatever it was, fluke kind of thing, dropped the punt. Okay, maybe he should have put someone else back there, but he wanted to show this guy he had a lot of confidence in him, puts him back out there, drops another one. That's not on me. That's not Brian Kelly's fault. That's just an unfortunate byproduct of the game of football. And I wish it wouldn't have happened, but you can't put that on the head coach, in my opinion. No,
I agree. And I was just about to say, and we're playing football too. Like, so it's not a symmetrical or super symmetrical shaped object, right? What's to say those two punts don't roll and bounce somewhere else and we recover them both now? We're sitting in situations where it's like, dude, those things, I'm not worried about those because if that keeps happening here, that kid ain't going to play here.
Now, if the quarterback was throwing interceptions and he was fumbling, he was getting sacked and he was fumbling balls and they couldn't handle the transitions, of handing the ball off and like zone reads, like, okay, that's something. But like things that happen because somebody's not familiar with their position or they're trying to get comfortable, like that is the growing pains of a young team. That's the growing pains of a new team. That's just what happens. You can't expect this team with 40 new players to be perfect the first game. You just can't. You can't.
I wasn't asking to be perfect. I was asking to do the things that you... If you're going to do that, then they would have won by 45 points.
My point is...
That's being perfect.
Right, because what you're asking is... I get what you're asking.
Yeah, me too.
But it's the sense of... Dude,
I'm not making an excuse for them either because they should be better at that. But to expect it, like, go ahead.
My point is like if that's what we're gonna sit here and say like, oh, we expect the Brian Kelly coach team to be better than that, dude, that's not gonna keep happening. That's my point. Like I saw a team that played well together. I saw a team that did good things together, and then all of a sudden, if we're sitting here saying like, man, we missed this assignment. Oh, man, we dropped this punt. That's not going to keep happening here.
And if it does, then we have a real issue. And then you say, okay.
But like you said, resume says, look at his teams in the past. Look at his teams everywhere else. They're more sound than that. So I don't expect that to keep happening here. And I'll give him the leeway and the benefit of the doubt of, all right, that's an anomaly. That won't be something that you'll continue to see here.
There's a couple times we shot ourselves in the foot. Bad snap, not on him. That's on the center, right? Like, that's center. Like the guy you have to put these guys on the field with the expectation of them to do what they have done so many times. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. It's a human game played by humans, not robots. Things are going to happen that are very unexpected. Bad snap, derailed the first drive. Okay? Penalty or sack, okay, derails the drive. Like there's these little things that happen, but it wasn't like we didn't have like 12. It wasn't like we were 12 penalties and we were doing all this careless, stupid stuff. It was honestly first game mistakes with a brand new team, at least in my opinion.
The mark of a good coach is putting your players in position to have success. If we can talk about our biggest mistakes being muff punt, bad snap, step the wrong way on one assignment, man, it's hard for me to believe that we're coaching up those things that bad. That's not going to keep happening here.
So what do you attest it to? Just guys in positions they haven't been in before?
I attested to the
whole lot
first
of new
game
stuff, dude.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of this. This first game of the
Dellinger's
season.
never played center.
Like I attested to the first game of the season. Like sometimes pressure gets to you. You've never been in that position. Like your butthole gets fucking tight.
You gotta understand. You gotta understand this. We're not in the building with them every day. They can speak how they speak about them. You don't know what interactions they have in the building, right? And I'm just throwing this out there, right? So I don't know the answer to this, but we're talking about a Malik Neighbors who was recruited by someone else. You don't know that maybe through their interactions, that through how things have gone, maybe he felt that he has to do more to prove himself. Maybe there isn't that comfortability between them. Maybe there hasn't been that between you. Like you don't know what's going on, right? So I don't expect. And once again, you came back and then the next drive after the second fumble, you saw him use hands, catch balls. The hands work, right? So you know the kid can play. Now is can he get comfortable, or if they take that opportunity away from him, but can he get comfortable in the role that they're asking him to do and the things that they're asking him to do and just go out there and play ball? It's really that simple.
Yeah, like I mean, I would like for them to have played errorless football. If they played errorless football, it wouldn't have been close.
Yeah.
If they played errorless football, they're up 14-3. 14-0 in the first quarter. They go down there, they score without the snap doesn't happen. They probably score a touchdown. They go down there again and they get the penalty and they move back, and they get the field goal blocked. Right? That doesn't happen. They go up 14 points, but that's part of football. That is part of learning your team. That is part of if it continues to happen week in and week out, that's a bigger issue. But to say that is an issue right now, I don't think that's the case. They didn't have 10 penalties. They didn't fumble the ball 18 times. They had 2 muff punts. It was kind of a fluky type of thing. Now, week 4, week 5, they keep doing it. We have qualms with them because, all right, like you're coaching them up, but it ain't working. They're not doing. You're gonna need to change up the way your coaching style with the way these guys. You're not getting through to them, and that's the hard part about coaching is you can try to do everything you want, but you have to have the guys that are playing for you to buy into it and do it and perform. And that's what makes a good coach a good coach is he forces guys to do that.
Yeah, that's I think why we got kind of on this conversation is because of how well it feels like in Hard Knocks that Dan Campbell has gotten through to his team, where you see guys that are saying they're not upset they got cut, they're upset that they're not on the team.
Right.
Which is 2 totally different things in my mind. Like, I wanted to play for you in the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
It's not that you took my job away from me, you don't think that I'm good enough. And that's the kind of buy-in that you're hoping to see from Brian Kelly and that he has to establish with a roster full of new players that he's never coached before. And then that's why I was saying it might be a 2, because you said, look, it took
A year.
Dan Campbell a year. It might be a 2 to 3 year thing.
We don't know how good they're going to be.
No, but,
Right.
But you can see it in the locker room.
And I don't think that's just Hard Knocks fluff. I think
I don't
that's
either.
because I've watched every year it's ever been on, and I've seen players that get cut. They go, "Well, why are you cutting me? Like, what did you see? Like, they don't believe that they should be off the team. They don't have the same level of respect that they had for like Dan Campbell. Whenever he's like, bro, okay, cool. I hope you all fucking crush it this year. Like,
I think a good example.
I wish I was a part of this.
I think a good example is who is that white receiver that he cut? Did you see it yesterday?
Pimpleton.
Yeah.
No, the white
No,
one.
no.
Pimpleton got on with the
The
Giants.
Giants. Yeah, he's with the Giants.
I know you're talking about because he was the one. I think he caught 2 tuds in the second episode, second or third.
So he was there, and he was telling him, he said, listen, you did everything you could do to make this team. We don't know if you could play the X. We don't know if you're only the X. We don't know. He literally told them the conversation that he probably had with all of his coaches and why they didn't know if they could keep him and why they didn't keep him. And as a player, you're thinking like, all right, like I can respect that. I'm
not walking out of here saying, well, why?
I can swallow that.
Yeah.
Because now you know what? That gives me information to say, okay, I'm going to go and work on some of these things that he told me. And maybe next year I get on a team. Or maybe I go on a practice squad somewhere else and I'm able to work on that and become better. Instead of saying, no, we didn't think you were good enough to make the team. Well, why? We had other guys that were better than you and just didn't really work out. We're set on a receiver position. Oh, okay, well, that didn't give me any information. Like, I want to still play. How do I get better?
Yeah, how can I avoid this mistake from happening? And that's what essentially we told him. When you get down to this part of the roster where it gets so slim, they're looking. We need versatility for people that are the last five.
Can you play special teams?
Right.
Hey, and I love this too. Like, I don't think we touched on this yet. I guess now that we're going back to the Hard Knock situation, but I love the part where he talked about. At the end of it, he basically said those were a tough 2 days. If you're in this business and those 2 days don't suck and it doesn't hurt, it's time for you to get out.
Yep.
Like when a guy talks to you like that, you understand that like he cares about this. Because once again, we've been in a situation where the guys in his position, the guys on top of him in those positions, they want nothing to do with any kind of personal relationship because they don't want those days to hurt. That becomes losing situations that you're in. It becomes people that don't in situations that they don't care about
because you don't feel like you're invested in me.
They don't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
no doubt. Good conversations. Good conversations. You want to get back to the week 2 slate of college football games?
I was more interested in what happened with Joe Fuchsia. How does this just come out? Did you see this?
What?
Credits that didn't transfer from Arkansas.
Right. How?
How? I don't get how that's.
I don't know that. I have no idea.
I didn't know if y'all knew if you had any academic.
No.
I have no idea how that doesn't happen. How do you just find out before the season? I'm sure they didn't find out just before the season.
How do we not find this out before school starts?
How do you not find out when he transfers?
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
That's what I'm wondering. I wonder if they knew inside the building. I'd imagine they did, and they obviously it's not public knowledge. But I was just wondering in terms of, I mean, he got a lot of first-team reps. He was out there a ton. You have this happen with Emory and with Joe Fuchsia.
Well, Emory's different. That was last
yeah.
year.
Right. I know that. And well, obviously, so was Fuchsia.
Yeah, but
what happened in Arkansas.
But yeah, what?
But I didn't know if y'all knew anything about like, can we just change my major to something I do have credits in?
I just honestly, I have no clue.
I don't know.
I don't know, but he's suspended for 2 games.
I think
4 games. 4 games.
I think it's more to do with you have to have a certain amount of credit hours based on how many years you've been in school, and he might not meet that because. Of
so you have to take a full basically 12 a year.
Like he's let's just say
what I did.
Yeah,
take a 12 like a full semester's 12.
Yeah, you take.
If you don't have enough 12.
So is that on?
I don't know.
Is that on
know.
LSU for not knowing, or is that on Arkansas for allowing him to play?
Or,
he didn't have it.
I think what happened was
where's that go?
He probably did that at Arkansas, and maybe some of those credits didn't transfer, so he's not eligible because he wasn't a full-time student. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I literally have no clue. I'm literally.
I just don't know
doing
what
nothing
always
to
happens
speculate.
at LSU.
We'll see him at
always.
Auburn.
I've never seen anybody in the last 10 years at any other school be like, oh, he's
Okay.
academically ineligible.
How closely are you following?
I don't know. You remember the Florida quarterback got popped for something
how
for a
closely
whole
are
year.
you following these other teams?
I mean, I just feel like I'll read the ticker and I don't ever see academically ineligible. It's always, I mean, some things happen.
maybe you're
but
right,
When was
but
the last
like
time LSU had it before John Emory?
That's, Tyrann Matthew. I mean, just the way
Well,
that
okay.
That's
things
not
happen.
academics.
That's just a totality
Well, then
of your
Florida-
kicking
hey,
your
those
player
things,
off the
those
team.
things happen. Those things happen to every team.
Who's the quarterback that he was at Florida, got popped for drugs, whole year gone. Now he went to West Virginia to finish it.
Oh, Greer.
Yeah, I mean that happened at Florida.
Oh, well, he got caught on video doing cocaine.
No, he got PED tested.
Who am I talking about?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Probably somebody on the 2018.
No, it was a quarterback somewhere, but he was like literally like after party, and they're like, "Well, this leaked out." And he's like, "Well, I guess I'm suspended."
I have no idea
That
what
you
you're
have
talking
to
about.
because it's literally A and B. But it feels like it happens to LSU far more than it happens to other schools in terms of like getting your compliance department in order, getting your academics in order, or just saying, "Why are we taking this so seriously?" Joe Fuchs is trying to go to the NFL.
I mean, that you can't say that.
Student athlete.
You can't say that.
Not anymore.
Graduate champion.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that question as to why he's ineligible. It's unfortunate that he is ineligible because he was obviously probably going to start. But
I don't know. I think he'll play a lot.
He's gonna
I don't-
play. He's gonna play.
But Major had a good game. Good
He's gonna
first
play.
yeah,
game.
but I
play
mean,
well.
was he going to? I mean, I think
Him and
they're-
Major play the same like.
I mean, I still
spot.
think he was. I mean, I think it would have been a rotation
Rotation.
between them. They would have
Yeah.
played pretty similar snaps, and maybe on the field twice at the same time. Sometimes, depending on
The formation.
formations and stuff. I don't know. But
Favorite game on the college slate this weekend? What do you got?
so I'm looking at them. Obviously, Bama, Texas. I don't know the spread, but I know it's significant. We
Is
probably
that-
should get the spreads out. Can someone pull them up?
Yeah, that's what I was doing right now,
All right.
and I have a fantasy draft.
Yeah. Well, so you weren't doing that. You're getting your fantasy draft.
No, I
ready.
was going to pull up the spreads, and then they're like 3 minutes to the
Let's
draft.
get. Can you pull the spreads
Yeah.
up? Okay. Thank
Oh,
you.
I don't care about this draft.
Well, you're in it, so you have money on it. So Bama, Texas, Kentucky
I
at
haven't paid in
Florida,
years.
South Carolina at Arkansas, which kind of is a sneaky, interesting
Kinda like
game
it.
for me because I
Kinda
want to
like
see
it.
Rattler play.
Kind of like it.
Another sneaky game for me is Tennessee at Pitt.
Yeah, I like that game.
I
Kinda
kind of
like that
want
one,
to see
too.
that game. Pitt obviously had a good first one. They had a crazy first game. Tennessee has a lot of hype. I think that is it Malik Hooker,
Kendon Hooker.
Kendon Hooker,
Malik
Oh,
Hooker's somebody.
Yeah, Malik Hooker's a safety.
safety. So Hooker, Kendon, whoever his name, but the
Yeah.
quarterback
Yeah.
is very highly touted as
Yeah.
far as like talented quarterbacks in the SEC. I think that Jaden Daniels can be a version of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I
Hendon-
think maybe Hooker throws a little bit better than him right now, but I think Jaden can be a version of him. Lean, athletic, can run, can throw it a little bit.
I think that he's more a product of Heupel than himself. I think that offensive system is very suited to him.
Maybe.
LSU is still trying to kind of figure
Figure it
out
out.
what they have.
But I think that at the best, Jaden Daniels can be a version of him.
How does that first half happen? How does it get
Who?
for LSU?
Listen, when I rewatched the game yesterday, and the numbers didn't look good, but I mean, you had opportunities twice to score touchdowns inside the 10. You know what I mean? Like, as bad as it looked, like I'm thinking, like, damn, you kind of had some action, and then something like big.
And you're
would
talking about
derail it.
early on, like the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
second half, it seemed that was.
Now
And-
the middle of the first half of the third quarter was not good.
Which I personally think too. If I don't, and I didn't go back to watch it yet.
But
so
that was
I don't know.
I think that was a product of
trying to
Florida State having the
establish.
ball.
Well, I think they were trying to establish and kind of bullish to what they had already as a game plan, and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
So you've already kind of squandered 14 points, and then now you're trying to be bullish about what you got going, and next
Kind
thing
of
you
think
know,
it works.
exactly. I
Right.
think that's kind of how this thing went. They figured it out like this shit ain't working.
But as,
right
as
now.
bad as they were as far as numbers goes, like
Yeah.
it was like they had an opportunity to put 14 points on the board and make it look pretty decent.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't sharp.
And to me, it feels like they can make in-game adjustments because as we were sitting and watching that game, the second drop that Kayshawn had, remember we watched it, late throw on the drag route, and it comes back. It's like 2 or 3 plays later where you can almost imagine that they straight up told him like, "Hey, this drag is going to be wide open. Throw the ball here." Because that's exactly who he locked onto from the start to finish. Throw it,
Touchdown.
catch and run, touchdown.
Because he did. That was looking back. Out of all of the throws that we said that he missed or did miss, that was very bad. Like that was a bad
Yeah.
one. Like
Yeah.
he was wide open. He had a chance to score if he gets it to him early.
Yeah.
That was a bad one. Still got to catch it.
Yeah.
But that was a bad read. Now, the touchdown that was not like that Kayshawn did not look for looked worse on TV than it did in person. Like that
I
ball
thought
hit
it
him in
looked,
the
I thought
chest.
it looked bad on, but
I mean,
I've
it looked,
seen
it looked bad in person
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure,
yeah.
but like you didn't like look from where we were at. Did it hit his elbow? Was it like on his hip?
Hit him in the
Did
hip.
it go?
It hit him-
almost in the chest.
Yeah.
Like,
Catchable.
I mean, here, you're getting
See,
hit.
then that's why I'm.
And he
yeah.
had the first drive. He had that ball in the corner in his hands.
Yeah.
Well, that okay.
Well, that's a great play. I mean, it probably ends up being a drop. I don't know if it goes down as a drop. But that's a great play defensively.
Yeah, you want him to catch it, but that's a great defensive.
Yeah.
That was a great play. That was a tough catch.
Yeah.
And the guy fought through the hands at the end, and that's why I didn't be able to, because he caught it and then he landed, and the guy was able to get it out. Like that was a great play. I can't blame that on Keyshawn. Right?
I've heard some other quarterbacks. I've heard, I think it was Flynn that said that the second Keyshawn drop, which I feel bad we keep referencing as like the second Keyshawn drop.
When he
the
didn't
third
get his head
Keyshawn
around.
drop. Yeah, but he said that was more on the quarterback than it was on Keyshawn in terms of which window to throw to. You being a receiver, I would imagine that it's
No, listen, I get
No,
that.
I said it was.
That's
two
what he said.
windows.
Well,
Yeah.
no, that's what I said it too. You got to I guess that is kind of a high level play in the sense of knowing that, boom, I come out of this cut, my head's got to come around. If this ball's coming in the first window, I'm going to take a shot.
I have to be ready.
I'm going to take a shot, right? I think he saw it as all of that, and I think he bypassed it in his mind that I'm going to bypass this first window and I'm going to climb to the second one. But that's something you can't do in a sense as a receiver because you just don't know what kind of time he's got back there.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like he may not have time to wait for you to get to that second window. So I think kind of some of that stuff
And
happened.
look, I agree. I guess the second window was probably the right read.
Right.
But you still have to be ready and anticipate the first one being thrown in the first one. I'm not saying like Matt Flynn obviously played at a way higher level
Yeah.
than I ever did playing football, right? But I just
But is there anything to him not flashing and showing because he doesn't want the safety to see that he's looking, that he's maybe, I'm carrying this route farther than you think I am. I don't want you to see me turn my head because now I don't have eyes on where I'm supposed to be.
The safety? Like is he trying to screw the safety on that one?
Right.
Okay, so if I turn my
Because
head
you always
and get-
talk about like late hands, late head.
Okay,
you
so
know,
if I
yeah.
turn my hand and I give my eyes to the quarterback, what's that make the safety think? Ball's coming, right? So then that makes the second window even more open then.
That's what I'm saying. Is that what he was trying to do?
He never turned. He never
didn't
really
turn.
turned and looked. That's why the ball hit him. He made the cut and he never really turned his head around. That's why the ball hit him.
Okay.
and look, it may like the read may have been the second window, but you still would like to anticipate. Listen, I had never like I get it. Like I'm not saying that he was the worst person. Like I'm not saying that it was just when you see it, you're like, well, okay, that could have been a touchdown there. You know what I mean? But I don't know. We'll see. It'll get. I think it'll get worked out. They'll find the rhythm. Now listen, Brian Kelly also made a very good point. And I don't keep going back to LSU because I do want to talk about all the other games. He said this was Keyshawn's first game since October of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rust in there, man. Like
Yeah.
you've got to. It's like practicing is one
Means
thing.
more than you
Scrimmages
think.
are one
Yeah.
thing. Like
Yeah, I
being
agree.
on the field. Like listen, my first game back in spring training after an all-off season of working out and doing stuff. Hey, bro, that first fly ball is weird.
What do you mean first game? The first live BP,
Yeah.
we're like, oh my God.
That's weird.
I've been hitting all summer. I mean, all winter, and this never looked like that.
Right.
So,
like it's just, you got to get in
it's
the
a real
rhythm
thing.
of the game. It's a real thing for sure. All right, back to the games. You have the lines?
Yep.
All right, Bama, Texas, and Austin. Bama at Texas.
20.
It's 20. All right. Does Bama cover? I think so.
I think they do, but
Yeah,
I'm still interested in this game. Like,
Me too.
Is
I
this
like.
the Gus Johnson game?
I like that.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
But-
I just like the thought of Texas being good. Like
Me
it
too.
makes
And
college football
I
fun.
also want to see Sarkisian against Saban.
Yeah.
With Ewers as his quarterback.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like I want to see that. I think it's very interesting. There's, like I said, there's a lot of storylines. What's the Kentucky at Florida game?
Florida's favored by 6.
By 6.
6?
Ooh. I think I like Kentucky in the money.
This would be in my mind a
I
classic.
mean, the points, not the money, not money line, the points.
This is a classic case of we just saw Florida beat a team that we thought was. I mean, Utah's always pretty good.
Well,
top
no,
10.
Florida went from unranked to 12.
12, and now you're of course. And I think if you would have looked at that spread before that game was played, it would have been 2, and now you get it at 6.
I think I like the 6.
And
Rich,
and it's 2 teams with
two really good quarterbacks.
yeah,
Two high level
supposed
quarterback
to be
play.
very good quarterbacks.
South Carolina, Arkansas.
Arkansas is favored by 8. in Fayetteville.
I can't do it.
South
with-
Carolina did not look very good.
No, I think Arkansas does win that, but I do
I
want
think
to
they
see
win.
if Rattler does something crazy and like makes it kind of weird and make it because South Carolina always has one or two like weird like. How
I
are
think
they in these
Arkansas
games
wins.
type of thing.
I think
Me too.
I think South Carolina makes it closer than what
You think
people
you think South Carolina covers?
by 8.
No,
Nah.
I can't with
I
Rattler.
don't
No.
think he covers either. Okay, Tennessee at Pitt.
But
What's
I am
also-
a big believer in Beamer. He's got something cooking
I
in
think
South
so.
Carolina
I
that
do
makes
too.
it a little
minus
more
his videos
interesting.
aren't very. I don't like his videos.
Well, he's got to do that.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
That's the Brian Kelly dancing videos. I get it.
What is also
No,
about
well, yeah,
Similar.
similar.
what is about Arkansas? I was talking about this about the LSU game is that they're not going to let you have the ball. I mean, they're going to run and run and run and run and wear you down with the quarterback, with the running backs, to where that might not help them cover the 8, but I don't think South Carolina's going to do very much.
No, I think they'll cover the 8. If they do that, they'll cover the 8. If South Carolina has the ball, they can't score.
Yeah.
All right, what's Tennessee at Pitt?
Tennessee is favored by 6.5 on the road.
I'm taking that one.
I think I like that one.
I like that one.
Tennessee 6.5.
I like that one.
I do like Tennessee.
If Tennessee goes
6.5.
out there and pulls out a win, I like that one.
Oh,
I think they'll cover.
Hunter Fournette is all up in this chat, and he has got action. Cause
What's he got?
He's got a lot of bets.
Bama first half, 10.5. I don't hate that at
I
all.
love that,
Oh, I
actually.
love
Bama
that.
gets off to fast starts.
Yes.
I love that. Love that, actually.
Florida was at 4.5 when it came out. Now it's up to 6. That's what I was kind of thinking. And then he had a couple of, hold on one more time. There's 8-ball Lloyd rolling. But I didn't know that he was in a wheelchair, so we were going back and forth, but he was literally rolling. Mississippi State, -6 first half. Baylor +3.5. USC -5.5 first half. Okie State -11. Oklahoma -32.5. Florida -4.5. Under 41, Iowa State is a sneaky good pick.
If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800, whatever the number is.
Hey, you got a battle for the bet slips right here. You and him.
Yeah, this is a new best friend.
I
I love Iowa
Do we-
State under.
Do we think A&M's on upset watch?
don't know if they're on upside, but do we think is Tennessee for real?
I think you'll see
You don't
a lot
think
more
so?
this weekend.
I don't think so.
I mean, I think they're good. Like they're a good team. I just don't think they're like an over the hump team.
Okay. App State at Texas A&M, you said that's what? 18?
It's 19.
19.
App State where?
At A&M. App State scored a ton of points.
Yeah, they scored 40 points in the
What's
fourth
the
quarter.
over-under?
That's what I was about to ask.
I'm finding it.
952.
54.
I think I like the over.
I kind of like the over on that one.
How long until you think Max Johnson takes the job from Haynes King?
No, listen.
He did not look good.
Listen.
He's coming off injury.
Yeah, listen, he'll be all right. I mean, I think he'll be all right. I think that's who he wants. That's who Jimbo wants.
It's his guy.
You know, so like Jimbo's gonna play him. I mean, he made a couple of mistakes, but he also made some throws.
Well, no, it just doesn't really look very smooth. When
Yeah,
he
but
throws it. It's
just because you don't look smooth doesn't mean you're not good.
Kellen
I know.
Mond didn't look very smooth either.
No,
He's not very good.
He still got a job somewhere.
he's talented. He's in the
Yeah,
NFL.
he got
Right.
cut.
Oh, he did get
Yeah,
cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got picked up somewhere else right away.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did Canada?
Oh,
CFL?
No.
Argonauts?
No, I think he's in the NFL.
The
He's in the
XFL with
somewhere.
Dwayne Johnson.
Speaking of the NFL.
Well, we got some more games.
I know, that's what I was going to say.
Not NFL games.
Tomorrow.
I know.
Starts.
I'm not. Can I get to the college slate
Oh, okay,
first?
you're still betting? What's the LSU spread?
Baylor at BYU.
Caesars doesn't have
There's
one.
only one. Win is the only one that has
like
one. I think it's like
47.
47 and a half. I'm not taking that
I
one.
would take Southern.
Baylor at BYU. What's that one?
I know Baylor's the favorite. I want to say by 3.5, but let me.
Wow.
They're favored by.
I'll just
No,
pull this
never
thing
mind.
up on the
BYU's the
screen.
favorite by 3.
BYU's a favorite by 3.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's
I'd
at-
take
it's
Baylor
at-
in this one.
See
Baylor's on the road.
This is when I start to get in trouble.
I think
because
Baylor
don't
went
watch
outright.
any of these
I'd
games.
take Baylor in this one.
You don't watch the Baylor games. That's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be late.
I won't watch a single play of that one probably, but I'd take Baylor. on
Can
that
you
one.
name a single player on either team?
Dave Aranda. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give me a nice night of
No, I
sleep
know,
and be ready
Hunter
for
Shepard is
Sunday.
the quarterback for Baylor. He's from Louisiana.
So I'm not gonna watch a single play of that one.
Wake Forest at Vanderbilt.
First of all, Vanderbilt's screwed. but
Why? Because the guy's coming off of blood clots?
Yeah. Wake Forest now is at minus 12.5. I don't think it was that much whenever I checked last night. But
Hey, boy, Vanderbilt's coming off a big game. He scored a bunch of points
And
on the
Hawaii,
island.
Hey, coached by a former fullback.
Hey,
You get
they're
that thing
going to
turned
have a lot of
around.
grit. A lot of grit, man.
Wake Forest's quarterback is good, though.
Do you see how long?
Yeah, but he also hasn't been playing. He's been hurt. He hasn't been doing anything for a long time.
Well, I think he's been practicing. Well, I mean, I guess we'll see.
Damn, Utah.
They're going to let him practice with blood clots?
He might have.
He was
been doing
academic.
it on-
He
might
was
have been
health
doing it on his own.
ineligible health-wise. There's no way he was practicing.
Well, then I find it weird that he would play on Saturday if he hasn't been doing anything at all.
I don't know. I mean, is he starting? Did they say he was starting?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like Tennessee.
All right. As far as the game tomorrow, what we got? This is
Got Bills.
Caesar's picks.
What is the over?
Spread's 2.5, over 52.
Oof, that's a tough over.
I like the over.
I'm gonna go under on that
I like
one.
the
man.
over.
I'm gonna go under on that one.
I like that.
I'm gonna go over.
I would actually, if I really was putting in the bet, I'm not putting in because I don't like how high it is, but I like the under on that. But I,
like
do
the
like the
over,
Bills
I
in
think.
this.
Over and Bills cover.
I like the over. They got two quarterbacks that are really good. You have high-level receivers on both sides. First game of the season. I think that, like, I think a 31-25 game isn't out of the question.
But
Wow.
but you're forgetting what NFL is usually like first month of the year, and this is in years where those guys actually played preseason games. These guys haven't played any preseason games. They don't have any real time.
No, I get it. I get it.
I'm taking under on that one.
That's what I was.
That-
I was
First
thinking
month of the
same
season
I
is
get-
usually always slow.
I understand that, but I also the only reason I'm taking the over is because I think that the quarterbacks that are playing are so high level that they're good. They're
Well,
good
I mean,
enough, like now, experienced
the
enough.
guys got to be caught up too, though, not just the quarterback.
No, it's a lot of same guys on the team. A lot of chemistry already built in together. You know what I mean? They
Well,
they
Van
don't-
Jefferson's out, so it's going to be a big Allen Robinson and Cooper Cup game.
Right.
So that's one guy that he has no experience.
No, I
with.
get it. Running backs it'll be a little dicey for the
Running backs are.
Rams.
I mean, I guess they're
What's
both
the
healthy
spread?
right now. 2.5, you said. Right?
2.5.
at Buffalo or
At
got to
Buffalo.
be in the Rams.
I took
No,
Bills-
it's in
It's
LA.
at
I
LA.
took
Gotta be in
Bills.
LA. They're still in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I
it's
took
LA.
Bills minus 2.5.
I think I like that too. Continuity, no more Odell.
Von Miller going back to LA,
Sharing the
playing
game
against
plan.
the team.
I just think Josh Allen's better than Stafford too. I think that'll-
Stafford coming off a little bit of some sort of weird
I
injury.
think Stafford's fine. I think that was
think
just.
he's
I
Playing
think
with
that
a
was.
broken neck.
I think I was blown out of.
If
way
you
out
go,
of
if you go
proportion.
watch the injuries that guy's had through his career,
Uh-huh.
he's fine.
But
They
you have-
had him on a pitch count. That was it.
he's fine.
He's good.
Yeah,
He's
Cam,
good.
Cam Akers coming off a torn Achilles where he still played with one, so I'd imagine he's not.
Which, how? How do you come back that quick off a torn Achilles?
Him and James Robinson, they got some kind of horseshoe up their ass or something.
Oh, Jay Robinson's fine now.
Got tore his Achilles in week 16 last year.
I know. It's crazy.
He's not even on the injury report right now.
Crazy.
How?
Brian Robinson's good too,
He got shot 3 times.
and they said he's all good.
Well, that's. I can understand that maybe. Because it didn't.
They need to audition for the
Well,
boys.
he didn't get hit in any vital organs or anything like that. Like, he didn't, like.
Take it easy.
Leg,
That's
yeah.
still that shot, coach.
Yeah, but I mean,
Hey.
that's in and out.
No,
Patch that baby up. Let's go.
coach. That's
Through and through.
like the Terminator, just the liquid man.
Not that I know. I've never been shot. I mean, I can imagine that does not feel very good. That probably burns.
Oh,
That's what.
stings.
Stinks.
I'm laughing like that shit's funny too. Like if I got shot.
I mean,
Oh, it stings.
Forrest Gump said it sounded like something bit him in the butt,
It did.
in the buttocks.
I was running.
I was running,
I will run in.
I was shooting.
and then he showed the president right on stage in front of everybody.
He survived that though.
Yeah, he did. He did. They
So
got a
Bills
Medal of
tomorrow.
Honor.
That's what we got.
Purple Heart.
Bills.
I got the Bills minus 2.5.
I like it.
Now, I
Not
haven't
touching
picked.
over under.
I haven't.
Who's
I don't like
jumping
it.
through a table?
I
Staying
haven't
away from
picked my picks for the weekend yet. I'm waiting till Friday. to
Is
do
it
all
just
that.
one game tomorrow for the NFL?
Yeah,
But there's
What
so
channel
many.
is it on?
that's a good question.
Who's on the call?
Let's look it up.
That's a really good question. I don't know.
Let's look it up.
Oh, this draft has been a disaster. I'm getting fussed at.
It just started.
Najee, Saquon.
I mean, it's on Prime Video, right?
Devontae.
Isn't all Thursday Night Football games on Amazon Prime now?
I think so.
So that's Joe Buck and his partner, the guy that.
Nope, just joking. Starting in week 2.
So what's tomorrow?
Week 1 schedule. Here we go. Thursday Night Football. NBC.
NBC tomorrow, huh?
And it is. I don't know.
It's not Drew Brees. We know that.
Who is on NBC now? I mean, there's so many different movies. Everybody's moved networks.
Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth.
Mike Tirico, the Italian.
The Italian. Is he Italian?
He said he was, didn't he?
I know he was the last person I've ever expected of all time in the history of the world to be a sexual workplace misconduct man.
He was accused of that?
Did it.
What?
Like he did it. He got reprimanded at ESPN for it. Big butt guy.
Really? I wouldn't
I
expect
thought he'd
that
be
either.
way too buried in rule books to be.
That's what I would think.
Guy
He was
knows
such
every
a
rule
nerd.
in every sport.
He used to watch games on mute. He would record them and call them himself when he was like 8 years old.
Wait, that's for real.
Knew what he wants to do.
God.
Yeah, have sex with women. Apparently.
I don't think that's what he was doing at 8 years old when he was watching the games. But okay. All right. You want to go down to the Not My Faults, which is brought to you by Doe's Eat Place.
Is it now?
Not My Fault's always been Doe's Eat Place.
Ooh,
Curtain
Monday Night
Call was the
Football
other
this
one.
week?
Oh, yes.
Doe's Eat Place. Also, we're going to have to move the show up next week. I know, I got to play in the flag football game next week.
Are you kidding me?
So no Monday Night Football?
I'm sorry. I got in trouble. We lost. I got to help the team out.
That's true.
We're 0-2.
Not my fault. Brought to you by Doe's Eat
Doe's
Place.
Eat Place.
Can we still get the food?
We can get the food. All right.
Michael Jordan can't stop haunting Scottie Pippen, even in their old age. Now it's trickled down to Larsa Pippen, who is Scottie's ex-wife or wife? Ex-wife. She has always had a penchant to go around town
With younger men.
with any men.
Yeah, but a lot younger men.
Many men.
Amen.
Yeah.
She
But
likes rappers.
Speaking of rappers, Eminem's tiny.
He is a little guy.
But go ahead.
yeah, that was a weird segment they did. But Larsa Pippen, former wife of Scottie Pippen, was seen gallivanting around town
Gallivanting.
with Marcus Jordan, who is the oldest of Michael Jordan's sons, and they're like, we're just friends, which I believe has
How did you
never-
see this?
TMZ. Which I imagine has never actually been the case when anybody has ever said that. Oh, we're just friends. It seems like whenever you get caught, especially on TMZ, with the pictures of you leaving restaurants together, it feels like
That's
That
not it.
definitely doesn't look like the restaurant.
Maybe they're just homies, like it says.
How old is he now?
I think he's probably around my
I
age.
think he's like my
Talk
age.
about your old time disappointment.
What does he do?
Nothing. Lives off his dad,
I
right?
don't think so.
What would you do?
Works for Jordan Brand, maybe? I don't
Maybe.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's no, did you see Bronny James at the Ohio State?
But wait, you got to finish it. Not my fault.
Yeah.
I was saying he's no Bronny James. But my fault, not my fault. We're just friends. Let me see what else I put in here. It goes, okay. As we previously reported, Larsa and Michael Jordan's second oldest son were spotted dining together at Zuma in Miami on a Sunday, with witnesses telling us it looked like a double date with another couple. Despite what some folks assumed by their public outing, we're told Larsa and Marcus are really just homies and aren't an item. It would have been a big mess if it were true. Larsa's ex, Scottie, pretty much hates his old partner in crime, which dates back to their playing days on the Chicago Bulls, which reignited the documentary, whatever it was called, Last Dance. My fault, not my fault, on dating. It doesn't even have to be related to exactly what this scenario is, but locker room antics in terms of old people
It doesn't
with
fall.
other people.
It doesn't fall under Marcus. Marcus Jordan doesn't fall into that category, just because he wasn't in the locker room. And now,
It's something.
Larsa Pippen is a problem.
She seems diabolical too, huh?
I mean, she is. Now, how many guys that are 30-some years old are dating? How old is she?
That's how
50.
Look up her little history. Yeah, I mean, how old is MJ?
50 plus.
Yeah, she gets around.
How old is she?
47.
Born in 74.
Okay, can you just give me the age?
Why would you do that to us?
Because that's all it tells me.
Okay, so from 74, 30 years from 74 is 2004. 2014 is 40.
48.
48.
I said 47. I was close.
You were
I
close.
guess.
Wow.
Malik Beasley,
Yeah, she gets after it.
Future.
That's her fault. That's not Marcus Jordan's fault. Whatever.
Oh, man, Tristan Thompson got caught up in this.
Yeah,
He
bro,
seemed-
she's.
Caught
He's-
up. Tristan is
Hey, he gets caught up in a lot, huh?
caught up in everything.
Hey, she
One
needs to
eye.
just. If she comes a calling, you go running.
She must have been in a slump. Why is he still making noise? She must have been a little bit of a slump if she had to go to Tristan because he's down for whatever always.
She seems like the Black Widow.
Kiss of death.
Yeah, you mess with her, you got.
Medusa.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely on her. That's not on Marcus Jordan. All right. Curtain Call, new sponsor for the Curtain Call.
Who is?
Curtain Call is brought to you by my friend, Frankie Harris, out of Sure Partners.
Yeah,
No
we
more.
have we have a litany of picks not only for Curtain Call but not my faults.
What?
Which direction do you want to go?
For Curtain Call?
Do we want to go Leah Van for that's my fault, not my fault? If
No, we
wanna
already
go
did
one
them on
more?
my fault.
I know. I'm saying we have more than one.
No, that's good.
Can I say my curtain call
Yeah.
first?
Absolutely.
I didn't put it in the doc today, but I forgot to do it. I shared it with a group text of ours yesterday. But my curtain call in honor of the beginning of a fantasy football season goes out to the kid that DM'd Amon-Ra St. Brown.
It was unbelievable, actually.
Anybody see it? I'll read it to
Yeah.
you so you didn't know. Amon-Ra St. Brown posted this on his story, and he just said, "Wow, I'm at a loss for words." The DM reads, "Congrats, you have been selected to my fantasy team. With that being said, I want to set some ground rules. We will be perfect in every aspect of the game. You drop a pass, you run a mile. You miss a blocking assignment, you run a mile. You fumble the football, and I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts. And then you will run a mile. Perfection."
He went full. He just went
Great,
full-
great. Listen, if
Full
you're gonna
coach-
do it, if
Coach
you're gonna
Herman
do it,
Boone.
you know that he laughed. That's why he
Oh, he
posted.
had
it.
to laugh.
That's why he
He
posted.
had
it.
to laugh.
Do you
So
think he's seen Remember the Titans?
Yes.
whoever the kid is, yeah, obviously, there's no way.
No,
he
no, I'm
says
talking
that.
about Amon-Ra St.
yeah,
Brown.
probably so.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's 20.
Speaking of,
I'd imagine.
they have the art exhibit that he went to.
Yeah.
They have one of those in New Orleans.
Oh, I went.
I know. Was it awesome?
It's awesome.
I want to go to it. We should do that.
I was
should do
totally sober.
I don't believe that one bit.
Wild.
right.
The best part's at the end. The room that they showed.
Well, don't tell me.
Well, no, I'm just saying because
I
you
know.
could get lost in there.
But don't tell me what happens because I want to be surprised. I want to do it because that looked awesome.
It's unreal.
That was really
Yeah, I
cool.
gotta try that.
You can get kind of sucked into it's the whole story of Van Gogh and he cut his ear off. He was this fucking insane person.
Yeah, I
obviously.
mean, like, yeah.
But the art is cool, and then the end room is very cool, and that's where you really want to spend most of your time.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
Sold.
Sold.
My current call goes to my hero, the legend. Oh, he's buffering. Typical. Oh, not on time.
Today, Junior.
Worth the wait. Worth the wait.
Boy, Coach O is living his life, huh?
He sounds like he was a little stuffy.
Hey, he looks a little skinny. Skinnier.
I'm putting two and two together, is what I'm saying.
Coach O's been partying hard, I think.
You think?
Was my opportunity. You know, coaches got a shelf. Some coaches got 50 years. Some coaches got 12. Mine was 6. Good.
Mine was
I got to tell you, we had a meeting. They coach.
Tell you.
Things are not going well.
No shit.
No shit. Ray Charles can see that, brother. And they were good. And Scott Woodward is a friend of mine today. Really, really, a lot of respect for the way they handled me.
These people in Arkansas. Are
So
like,
what's next?
Well,
This guy
I gotta tell- I
stinks.
gotta
Who's
tell
this
you
guy?
though. Say, Coach, you got $17.1 million on your contract. We're going to give it to you. I said, what time you want me to leave and what door you want me out of, brother? I'm so grateful of
you know what, though?
LSU. That was my opportunity. You know,
he hadn't changed his tune from how he left.
I have to
though.
respect that because one, he hasn't changed his tune, and two, like, hey, he took a situation that he was kind of the laughing stock, and he's embraced it, and he's going out there, and he is still making money off of that.
Yep.
Right? Like, he's going out there and he's still getting his coaching fixed. He's going out there and he's still doing talks. He's getting paid to do appearances. He is embracing that situation, and he's not running from it. And he's also not bad-mouthing LSU.
Well, that's part of the 17
I understand that, but still, like, he's going out there. You could say, okay, you get $17 million without coming out and bad-mouthing and not say anything, like, not even go and put yourself in a position
he could be doing all the bad mouthing he wants right now, and they still have to pay it. So, like, for him to not be doing that, it's like, all right, bro.
This is your example of when Man Campbell goes wrong, right? Like, you want that Ed Orgeron, the fun, laughing, like he actually realizes.
That ain't comparable to Man Campbell,
I
man.
think it is in a sense of what Orgeron could have been in terms of running a football team, caring about his players, because there was never a doubt about that, you thought. But then whenever he got into a position where, oh, shit, this might be more about me than I thought, and then the success goes to your head, that's not going to happen to Dan Campbell. But this is what happens when you
I understand,
hire.
but I knowing both and seeing both from a now obviously I don't know I don't know MCDC that well at all. Actually, don't know him at all. I just know him from what I see on Hard Knocks, from what other people, but everybody that has been around him and the way that it's not the same. Now I get why you're going that way. I don't think it's the same. I mean, I understand the thought because it's two big, burly, seemingly rah-rah type of guys. But I think MCDC's got more
Substance to him.
Yeah.
like more believability in what he knows about football.
And look, Coach O knows a lot about football. I'm not denying that, but as far as running a team, you got a little bit more than just knowing football at that point.
And he coached under a great, too. So
Yeah.
he's actually got all of his background and coaching experience from greats.
Right.
You Coach O?
The other guy.
Pete Carroll.
You got a curtain call? Or no?
Yeah, it's a TikTok. Well, I put two of them, but put the Florida fan one. I thought this was funny. So, obviously, Florida, big win in the swamp over Utah. Fans are happy. Well, this guy makes a comparison that the guy recording the TikTok doesn't quite agree with. And he has a funny reaction.
I haven't seen this one. I got to check this out.
This is better than pussy! Yeah! This is better than pussy! Yeah!
You think that was authentic?
Absolutely.
I love that.
He was so excited, too. He was, like, cheering with him. He said that. He's like, hell no, that's crossing the line. But that's not that good.
I didn't put the link in the doc, but my curtain call is: did y'all see the Clemson guy fight this 15-year-old?
Oh
Yeah, I
my
did.
God.
And the 15-year-old dropped him.
Yeah.
Are we sure he's 15? He
what
looked
it
young.
That's what
He
they
might
said.
not be 15.
I mean, he looked
He
young,
might be 13.
but this guy, fucking loser,
Lost.
drunk
Didn't
15
use the
guy
high ground.
who's
Yeah.
22
Had the high ground.
He had the high
starts
ground.
starts fighting this 15-year-old, starts swinging. The 15-year-old drops him. Curtain call that guy, the 15-year-old, the 22-year-old. Go kick rocks, bro. That's embarrassing.
Also a curtain
It's
call.
15 within the age of you might get your ass kicked if you're too
Not-
drunk.
not by a 22-year-old.
That's what I'm
15-year-old
saying.
gets
22 was probably hammered. 15 sober.
Yeah, but you don't fight someone. You don't fight a 15-year-old at 22 years old.
Well, he wasn't fighting expecting to lose.
Shouldn't fight.
You just don't fight anyway.
But
I mean, you
that
don't
was out of his control at that point.
That's fine.
College
That's loser-
football.
That's loser
Hey,
shit.
listen.
Oh, so you're mad at him for fighting a 15-year-old, not for getting his ass kicked by a 15-year-old?
No, my current call is to the 15-year-old because a loser tried to fight somebody for no, like a 15-year-old 7 years younger than you. He's an adolescent, and you are
Depends on what
you
standard
are
you're at.
And he had the high ground.
and you had the high ground, and this 15-year-old who you were trying to fight dropped your ass. So, current call the 15-year-old, kick rocks to the other guy.
But speaking of fans, I'm not gonna put this on the curtain call. Please tell me y'all saw. I think it's a Dodgers fan that was
Yep.
getting escorted out, and he
That was awesome.
slipped
bald-headed guy?
Yeah,
That
took the
was
hat off,
awesome.
slipped into the stand.
That was awesome.
Oh, it was great. He never left. I loved it.
That was awesome. All right,
Wait, so
great show.
what age?
What? If you think that fighting a 15-year-old is like a good thing, you're.
No,
I
I'm
think he's
saying-
saying is that it's a risky thing if you're too drunk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I just don't think that shouldn't.
Like, what's
To
the
do
age where you
that-
can't lose?
It obviously shouldn't happen.
To
but
do
I'm
that, it's
saying,
stupid to even like.
What would the odds be? Like,
Oh,
This is one of those.
he was
you
a
gotta
heavy
fight
favorite, high
one
ground heavy favorite. You lost, bro. Go home. Take a few years off. Like you shouldn't show your face around anybody for a long time because you are. I don't care how sloppy drunk
This
you are.
drinking game they think's not for you.
No. You're standing a row above this poor child, a child,
15-year-olds are fucking mean.
and you were trying to hit him, and yeah, you may have. This guy got you. He landed one and got you. Then he was on top. He got on top of you. And he starts hitting you a few more.
Where are the 15-year-olds' parents?
That's
Not
what I was
there.
wondering.
But
They came back from the bathroom to one hell of a story.
boy, that's embarrassing. Great show. Great show today.
We're building up quite the Rolodex of people that we should probably have on throughout the year.
No doubt. That was the whole plan. We are a
If we can
football
get
show.
Jordan Jefferson on.
We are a football show. We're gonna get Danny McCray on too. He'll break down
Danny's
some
coming on
serious
soon, too.
stuff. Calvin Shepard, gotta get him on.
Gotta get the Shep too.
Gotta get.
They just
Shepard.
did a profile on him.
I know.
Could have been ours. I think I'd ask some of those hard-hitting questions.
I gotta get Danny past the end of the challenge, the show.
When's that?
I think there's an episode right now that just started at 8.
Wait, how many game shows has he been on?
This is the second one.
It's not a game show.
The
It's like a
Challenge?
Survivor type of thing.
Survivor one series and then the challenge just now.
The challenge is MTV.
I don't really. No,
don't
it's,
know.
I mean it's on. I think it's on NBC, actually.
I don't know.
What's the challenge?
Yeah, it's people from Survivor, Big Brother, and maybe
Amazing Race?
Yeah, Amazing Race. I think
That's what I'm saying. What are they doing?
they do different challenges.
Challenges?
There you go. I mean, different challenges.
Because I couldn't do Amazing Race.
Different challenges. You got to switch the teams up.
I couldn't do Amazing Race. I have no sense of direction, no problem-solving skills, really. Survivor, I don't want to do.
I have no interest in doing Survivor.
I don't want someone to be out there. I don't
Never.
care what the money is.
Never.
Big Brother, though, I would absolutely love to be on. Any sort of put me in a house and you have all your amenities.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also-
game
I'm on you.
Game on.
Before we go, I don't mean to cut you off. The Mark Ingram, Cam Jordan podcast is electric.
Yeah. It's
If
good.
you haven't seen it, I have no
It's good.
reason to promote this other than the fact that it's very enjoyable. And if you haven't seen the episode with Jameis has
a rock
always
star, bro.
been one of my favorites because he's so entertaining, but he is awesome, dude.
He's a rock star.
He
bro.
is awesome.
Like not just because he's a saint right now. Like I, honest to God, hope he's like NFL comeback player of the year type of year.
Put
'Cause
that bet in.
That
I
dude
didn't.
is that dude is fun, man.
I did
Still
put.
can. You can put it in right now.
I know, but I did put the leading the league in passing yards. Comeback player of the year for me is Michael Thomas. That's what I put in.
Yeah.
But great show. We'll be back again on Friday, live from Uncle Earl's, 4:30 to 6. Whoa.
Come out to Earl's, people.
Come out to Uncle
We had
Earl's.
out
a
to
crew
Earl's.
last week.
Listen, we're starting to gain a little steam. Tell your friends.
Q&A
Come out
live
there.
in person, people. Let's
Come
go.
out there. The more
And come
people.
with the question. What did he ask?
Oh yeah.
Good.
We put them on.
I don't even want to repeat it.
I don't even remember it.
It
But-
was, why isn't Tyreek Hill in the Hall of Fame?
We're gonna have an ask.
I mean, how does your brain go there?
We're gonna have an Ask Mikey and Mitch segment. We're gonna promote it. Ask some questions. Send them in. We said you need to be there or be live in the chat. Just throw them out there. Whether you want to tweet at us, put them in the
Social.
chat. Just do something so that we can get some interaction. Also, show up because we have an open tab. It has been getting exceeded, which is great because hopefully the more people that show up and the more money Earls makes, the higher our tab can get. Maybe, hopefully, potentially. But show up.
BG.
We have a really good we have a good time. Friday show is a lot different, a lot more interactive. We interact with the people who are in there. You know, it's fun.
Whispers of battle of the bands between Southern and
Yeah,
LSU.
I don't think we're gonna win.
I don't think it's much of a battle. But I think they're gonna be on the field.
It's
together.
gonna be entertaining. It's gonna be entertaining. I can't wait.
Flight of the Bumblebee.
Go out to the games. This weekend's
Sure.
gonna be electric. A lot of energy around Tiger Stadium. Bring the city together. It's gonna be awesome.
First time ever, right? First time ever.
I think so. Yeah. 4:30 to 6. Uncle Earl's on Friday. We will let you know how our picks do. -2.5. Anna took the over. I know a lot of guys don't like the over. I do. We'll see what happens.
I like it.
Tease it.
Hey, like and subscribe to our channel. Share it. Tell a friend. Use our promo code
Story it. All of it.
MMLSU with the Caesar Sportsbook app. Download it if you're a new subscriber. Use our promo code MMLSU full. All right, I think that's it.
That's it.
MMLSU full to get a risk-free bet up to $1,200 and take some of the bets that we've talked about. We gave you a lot of spreads. Listen, as the season goes on, we're going to start having a lot more betting information.
We have to watch it too. We got to see what we're looking
like
at.
trends, lines, things that we need to do, stats, stuff that
Graphics.
actually
Brand new right now, baby.
stuff that betting experts actually do. So we're gonna start getting that so that we
I'd
can
get
announce
Hunter
some
Fournette on
new things.
as a pundit.
Apparently we need that.
Barstool.
Apparently your friend supposedly knows a bunch. Can you start giving us some freaking stats?
Oh,
Your boy that
That's
talked
also
about
the same guy that asked. If
yeah, I
Tyreek
know,
Hill's
but
in the Hall
he
of
was
Fame.
throwing out some numbers out there. Let's get some trends.
I don't know. I don't trust him at
We're on all podcast networks,
That
Spotify,
guy's
Apple.
trouble.
We'll see y'all on Friday.
I can't even stand up.
Enjoy your
right
night.
now.
Peace.